to the.
The man say you want to get you what?
Tea. Hot milk tea. Hot milk tea.
Oh, milk tea.
Yeah.
For you to drink.
With bread.
With bread.
3 pieces of sugar bread.
With egg inside.
With egg inside. My butter. So when I carry it to the man, say carry it to the man. When you give it to the man, then you must come back to the car.
So the food man give you now, you carry that so you can go convince your friend now.
Yeah. When I give it to the man, the man say thank you. I say okay. The man say, oh, where you going now? I say, oh, I'm going right here. So one of my friends called me.
Yeah, the same man you going to now.
Yeah, the same man.
And the man tell you say he want for you to go steal.
No, yeah. So when I go to the man, he say clean the car. Then they are 2 now.
In a jeep.
In a jeep. Then they are 2.
A big jeep.
Yeah. Black big jeep. 4 jeep.
4 jeep.
Yeah. So when I clean the car now,
air condition all inside.
No, Papa, you can't wait for me to spin now. I'll leave the whole town now. You can judge people.
I just asking you a question, sorry.
You can judge people that can come here.
No, I'm a journalist. I beg you, sorry.
The way you double in the question, can I say when I move from here, I'll free? Can I say when I move from here, I'll free? You said one talk again. I wanted to make a whole talk clear to you, but you double in the question. Hi, land looking, hi, looking, hi, looking. Then you want force another more word there again. Why not be looking to the top? I'm going to talk again. And said they call me to the office. I go explain.
I think you explain to me that you come to get fair. You say you carry the tea to the man. After you carry the tea to the man, you come now. So what next now?
And for me, I will not fair.
Nobody, you getting very. You say asking you too much question. Hey, just explain things. Say they make your egg and bread. You bring it. Okay, sorry. Now I say sorry now. Okay, sorry.
If you,
okay, I will not ask you the question again. Okay, sorry.
When I give you answer now, then you.
Okay. Explain again. I'm not asking you no more question again. Okay, like why now?
Go to school. The English say I need the English.
Okay, sorry. Now I say sorry now. Sorry.
Say Ali, you take time. You take time.
I'm taking time. Okay, sorry. Okay.
I said I can take time
to explain. Yeah. Okay.
Today is Wednesday, the 25th of June 2025. A couple of days from now, we'll be saying goodbye to June. Welcoming July, Liberia's Independence Month. Many of the worst problems can be avoided by living with a healthy amount of seriousness. After all, where seriousness is absent and pettiness reigns, disaster looms. Steer clear of that pettiness. It is consumed itself, or let it consume itself on its own, without your participation, without your observation. Invest your attention in the beauty, opportunities, challenges, satisfactions, and lessons of reality. There is plenty of reality to go around. You have all sorts of ways to bring new goodness and riches into being and to share the experience with others. Do so with the joy of neutrality, with plenty of good humor, and also with seriousness. It is indeed great to enlighten yourself and deepen your understanding by entertaining all sorts of fantastic concepts. Yet keep yourself firmly grounded in reality and the sober seriousness it demands. Enjoy each moment, have lots of fun, and live with enough seriousness so that the joy and fun will endure. My name is Trokon Wrepue. This is The Conversation, right here on OKFM 99.5. The lead host of the show will say the biggest thing on radio anywhere in the country, and I dare say the best thing that has happened to Liberia. Today we look deeper into education. I have promised to have a guest on today from the education sector. Unfortunately, we had a plan and then something transpired, which we will not say publicly on the radio, and the guest will turn down the invitation. But we promised to have that guest back here. Some of those issues are personal sometimes. But we will look into what the ministry did I say ministry? The Commission on Higher Education, the exercise they've announced, what the findings were and the decision they've taken. We will open up the line for a public debate. Let's hear what you think. Would like to try something, but your word would have crumbled. 4:45 today. We anticipate Margibi County Senator Nathaniel McGill to sit on the platform with us, share the platform. He's been pushing a lot out of Senate. We want to listen to him, how sincere is him, and some of the issues he's pushing. What his honest observation about governance in the country. What does he think about when it comes to the wave of support going towards Mr. Joseph Boakai coming from former allies of the Congress for Democratic Change? Senator Nathaniel McGill accepted our invite and is expected to be here. We will talk between now and then. But you never know that this is the conclusion. So the man who represented the former Liberian President Charles Ganke Taylor at the Hague doing his trial, cutting a great faith, has died. I first saw that announcement from the special court in Sierra Leone, and then it began world news. What a lawyer he was, his resilience, his kind posture, his line of questioning made him a very, very good veteran and relaxed lawyer. Oh yes, I admired how he lined up his question. Everyone will have to pay the debt of nature. We're all here today, tomorrow, who knows? That is why we have to play our part in today and leave the rest with God. It is a relay race. We are here. Others were here. They are no more. We've come. Someday, somehow, we too will be no more. Others will take over. That is why it is important to always do our best whenever we have these opportunities. This is The Conversation. Right here on OKFM 99.5. Let's go across the African continent to hear what's making news in other areas. Still a tough time in East African country of Kenya. In that country of Patrick Lumumba, at least 50 people have been injured in the capital Nairobi. The BBC understands as thousands join nationwide protests marking the first anniversary of a deadly anti-tax demonstrations. You remember it took place last year, The Kenyatta National Hospital received patients with various injuries, but it is unclear whether this includes gunshot wounds. Police have been engaged in running battles with protesters. You know what I mean by that one? Running beyond them. Using tear gas and water cannon to disperse growing crowd in Nairobi. In the central business district, demonstrators continue pushing towards Parliament despite roadblocks and a heavy police presence. In some instances, overwhelmed police officers have been forced to retreat. Prosecutors were protesters in pursuit. atmosphere remains tense. There are growing concerns of possible fatalities and more injuries. A South African court has halted plans to bury former Zambian President Eka Lungu at a private ceremony just as it was about to start. The news was only announced to mourners in South Africa after the funeral mass held already finished. This is the latest twist in the row between the government and Lungu's family over his burial, after the family opted for a private ceremony in South Africa rather than a full state funeral at his home. The Zambian government had The Zambian government had filed an urgent case in the Pretoria High Court seeking to stop the burial planned by his family. Even this thing being lingering, he told his family that when he died, the current president of the country should be nowhere near his body. So the family went on to execute that mandate he left behind before his passing. At a certain point in time, they will settle with the government, the politics will play hard, protocols will change. And the family said, well, we're going to bury our relative here, though he's a former president, bury him in South Africa. The government then ran to the court in Pretoria and said, no, he's our citizen. He must return home to be buried. He's a former head of state. He has to lie in state. They are there. Another appalling attack on a hospital in Sudan has seen more than 40 people killed, many of them children and medics. The head of the World Health Organization has said, "We cannot say this loud," wrote Tedros Ghebreyesus on X on Tuesday. Attacks on health must stop everywhere, he said. Ad-Mujal Hospital was struck on Saturday and is located in West Kordofan State, close to one of the front lines where Sudan's warring parties were fighting in the conflict that is now in its third year. Recognize some of the people following us: J. Stephen Bioga, Rufus Coco Navin, Joseph Carway Jr., Boyman K.D. Mensko, Prince M. Thomas, Emmanuel T. Dixon, Toby S. Dottu, Abraham Sakoli Vani, Muyan Sharif, and Hanafi Zarakis Jallo, Joe Ahmed Dole, Tito Joa, Talinton Rio, Daniel Tinte, Mark Jones, Blama Masiko Kamara, Mohamed J. Kone, Afre Ki Joa, Michael E. Flomo Sr., Opi O'Neill Johnson, Toby S. Dottu, Akoda Name Habaku Esto, and Ama Ndibe, Paul Esto. The list goes on. We'll go for a break. Right after that break, we'll bring you the fast check report. Right after the fast check report, we'll start discussion on some of the issues we intend to talk about on today. It promises to be very, very good. You will enjoy. And as democratic as the show has been, it will always be, and you will have a say on some of the issues we intend to talk about, or we will be talking about in moments from now. Stay with us. Don't you go anywhere.
Your favorite RLJ Kendeja Resort and Villas is new and improved with top-notch first-class services guaranteed to make you feel pampered and special as our royal guests. Ideally located on the RI Highway, a few minutes drive from the rehab junction, right in front of the Atlantic Ocean, you are assured of a peaceful, serene atmosphere of a home away from home. The ingredients for our Liberian meals are freshly picked from our garden to give you that unforgettable taste of Liberian cuisine. Our villas are designed and equipped to ensure every night spent with us is a memorable one. We are well positioned to host conferences and seminars of all sizes, as well as outdoor events like garden weddings and parties. Book your upcoming events and leave the rest for us to handle with 100% satisfaction guarantee. You can reach us on 0770-533-415 or email us at reservations@kendejaresort.com.lr. Visit our website on www.rljkendejaresort.com.lr. RLJ Kendeja Resort and Villas, for memories worth repeating.
Are you a driver? Do you have a ride? Want to make some extra cash? Say no more, because we've got you covered. Omuta has arrived. The best drivers app to ever hit Liberia, with over 1 million riders just waiting for you. Join the train right now and don't be left out. Drive at your own convenient time. Drive whenever it suits you. Drive on the weekdays. Drive on the weekends. Drive in the evening. Make driving work around your lifestyle. The good news is you get paid every day. Every time you drive, you get money. So don't be left out. Rush now and get your Omuta app on Google Play and Apple Store. It's ORMUTA. Omuta, the best driver app connecting Liberia. So don't be left out. Join the Omuta family right now and make some cash. Let's roll, baby. Let's roll, baby.
Rushing. Why are you rushing to so?
You, Judy, don't give me a hard time, man. I'm going to the bank to get my cash because the bank was so close.
You can use the ATM?
My ATM card expired ever since.
My man, you don't need ATM card. Just use the mobile app and generate an e-token. All you have to do is to just log on the app, you click on Express Cash. Then you select ATM. From there now you select Generate e-token. Then you select the account you want the money to come from. From there you select the currency that you want. If they're Liberian dollars or US dollars. Then you put in the amount that you want, whether $10 or $20, you put it in and you generate your e-token. It's simple, like 8 numbers that will come to you. When you get that number, just go to any ATM there. All you have to do is to just select the C Express Cash on the ATM now. The place where you're supposed to put your ATM pin, that way you pull that 8 number. Then it will ask you for the amount. That money where you generated, that money will come on the ATM will pay you.
So simple. Ego Binance for me again. Oh. I will always make use of the Express service big time. Eco Bank, the Pan-African Bank.
Good. Let's now join the Local Voices team to bring you the Fast Check report.
Good day and welcome to the Fact Check segment. This segment debunks disinformation and provides the verified facts of statements made online and on the radio. On June 24, former Grand Bassa County District 4 Representative Vincent Willie claimed during his appearance on Prime FM in Monrovia that in the first round of the 2023 general elections, the margin between the Unity Party and the Coalition for Democratic Change in Grand Bassa County was about 10,000 votes. He further stated that in the second round, the CDC lead over the UP dropped to over 7,000 votes. Mr. William made this claim while highlighting how he campaigned for the wireless CDC, which, according to him, contributed to the party's strong performance in Grand Bassa County, including a major win in his district. To fact-check this claim, we reviewed the first round and runoff results of the 2023 presidential elections as published by the National Elections Commission. The next official results shows that in the first round of the presidential election in Grand Bassa County, the CDC received 46,651 votes, while the UP obtained 36,214 votes. This means that the CDC led the UP by a margin of 10,437 votes. In the runoff election, the results shows that the CDC got 43,911 votes, while the UP received 36,816 votes, giving the CDC a reduced lead of 7,095 votes. Based on this review, the claim made by former Representative Willie is mostly correct, while he referred to approximate figures saying 10,000 and 7,000. The actual margins were 10,437 and 7,095 respectively. On June 23, Spoon FM published a story on its Facebook page claiming that over US 63 million and US 44 million were allocated to the House of Representatives in the 2024 and 2025 national budgets, respectively. The media network published this story to inform the public on how our Speaker Richard Kuhn was urging international partners to support the legislature in its digitization efforts, emphasizing the importance of technological upgrades that will enhance transparency, record keeping, and institutional efficiency. To fact-check the claims, we reviewed the 2024 and 2025 approved national budgets published by the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. Our review shows that in 2024 approved budget, US 53.37 million was allocated to the legislature. However, the outturn, which is the actual amount spent by the legislature in 2024, was US 63.87 million. Out of this amount, the House of Representatives received US 39.7 million in that same year. Meanwhile, in the 2025 approved national budget, US 44.34 million was allocated to the legislature. The House of Representatives got an allotment of US 25.69 million. Based on the findings from our research, we conclude that the claims in the Spoon FM's publication on Facebook that over US 63 million and over US 44 million were allotted to the House of Representatives in 2024 and 2025 budgets respectively are misleading. In 2024, US 32.5 million was allotted to the House of Representatives, but the House spent US 39.7 million in the same year, while in the 2025 budget, US 25.69 million was allotted to the House of Representatives. Well, cherished listeners, this is all we have time for on this edition of the Fact Check segment. This segment is part of an MOU between Local Voices Liberia and OKFM, Prime FM, and Kia Radio to counter disinformation to help the public make informed decisions. This MOU is funded by the Liberia Media Empowerment Project implemented by Internews with funding from the European Union. The funder or partner had no say in the editorial decision leading to the production of this Fact Check segment. We will be back on Friday with more Fact Check reports to help you know the facts. But if you have a claim that you want us to fact check for you, you can kindly send us a text through WhatsApp on 0777 556296 and we will fact check for you. Also follow us on Facebook at Local Voices Liberia, on X, formerly Twitter at LV Fact Check, or better still visit our website at www.localvoicesliberia.com. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Great. Thank you to the Local Voices team for always being on time. Like we said from the introduction, Cottonelle Greatfaith, the British barrister, will serve as lead defense counsel for former Liberian President Charles Taylor during his war crimes trial, has died at the age of 70. The special court for Sierra Leone announced that on Tuesday. We will come back to that story, but I intend to talk to Councillor Wanda Freeman. Councillor Wanda Freeman, I learned once worked for the FRA. So we will talk to him. There are some branding issues, and Councillor Freeman will say to us exactly what those issues are. So Councillor Freeman, like I said, once worked for the Financial Intelligence Unit, then now the Financial Intelligence Agency. According to him, his contract was terminated. This resulted to court action. Decision was made by the judge, and we are where we are. He feels dissatisfied about how due benefits the court said should be given to him were not given. So we will hear from him exactly what the issues are. Counsel, welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much, Trokon.
Okay, so in the next 5 to 6 or 10 minutes, we will, hear from you on exactly what the issues are and where your dissatisfaction comes from. But who is Councillor Wonder, by the way?
Well, I'm actually an attorney, so
okay, attorney.
They don't tell the difference, but I'm an attorney.
Okay, sorry for that. I know you lawyers are very careful with those titles. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So I'm an attorney, and I'm also a financial crime specialist and an economist. Okay. So I worked for the FIA for 3 years. Okay. 2014 to 2017, and during those times we used to have like 1-year contracts, so the contracts were renewed like every year. So in my 3rd year, my contract was terminated, or say not renewed, but there was outstanding benefits that was not paid to me, and I decided to take the matter to court.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay.
So
go ahead.
Yeah, so we've gone through back-to-back a lot of court cases, and the FIU have lost everything, but they're just refusing not to pay.
So what are the steps? Because I know issues that have to do with benefits. First, one will face the labor administration of the country. From the labor end, one will move over to some of the courts in the country that have jurisdiction, and so on and so forth. What did you do after your contract was terminated and you felt dissatisfied?
Oh, we went to the labor ministry in, I think, 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, and 2020, they ruled against the FIA.
The labor ministry did so?
Yeah, then they took an appeal to the labor court, which is the next line. And the case was dismissed. The appeal was dismissed at the labor court. Then they filed a motion against the dismissal. So, but at the time, I used to work for the current judge now, Councillor J. Masaya Colley. So the Colley declined and said, okay, he was just appointed, but he can't handle the case because we used to work together. So they wrote the Chief Justice, and the Chief Justice, I was the previous Chief Justice. And the previous Chief Justice, and he forwarded the case to the Circuit Court in Kakata. So that's how, even though it's a labor case, but that's how it went from labor court to Kakata, because I used to work for the current judge that's there now. And in the Kakata court, they have gone through 4 judges: Judge Chinaway, Judge Kennedy, Judge Kiri, and now Judge Goda. what is disappointing in this country is that what is the essence of going to court, winning a case, and the institution just refuse to pay? These are things that create chaos in the society.
So in that particular ruling, was the judge, or in the decision of the judge, was it explicitly clear that the FRA owed you some money and those money should be paid as a result of the judgment, right? Not?
Oh yes, that's what I'm telling you. There are four. Judge Chinoway first. She was the first person dismissed because they filed a motion. She dismissed the motion and ordered them to pay. When they refused to pay, but you know they have changes in the court. So Chinoway was out there and Kennedy came. And then I filed a motion for enforcement of judgment. And Kennedy also dismissed their explanation and ordered them to pay. They refused to pay. Then Judge Kerry came. Judge Kerry also gave them, I think, 30 days. It was going to pay in August 2024. They also refused to pay. And then when I went back to him, by that time he was no longer there, he said, oh, this thing here, my man, I think you need to get the justice ministry and this and that. I mean, how can you go to court the judge, you have a final ruling and they say go to the justice ministry? If I wanted to go beg the justice minister, I would just write him a letter and beg him, but I went to court. You know, it's so disturbing.
Yeah, and it is still hanging. You've claimed that you've not gotten a dime from the FRA, and they were instructed by a court of competent jurisdiction of the country to pay you every cent and dollar they owed. What are you doing next? I know you're dissatisfied.
Most likely, I'm making a public relation campaign for now, because it's like the court system is failing. Because, like I told you, we're going through 5 courts, 5 judges, and several decisions ordering them to pay, and they have all defied all of that. And these very people, they are in the business of finding other organizations that they say violate the money laundering regulation, and they give them 48 hours to pay. Okay? And they have a final decision from a court of law. It's been like 3 years plus, and they can't pay. And they are just, I think it's just an abuse of the government position. And the court are disappointed because the court is reluctant. So I heard there is a new appointment for a new circuit judge at the court. So I'm hoping eventually, if the FIA refuses, which I expect they will do, we'll go back to court on a bill of information so that they have to pay. I mean, it's just so disappointing. It's lawless. It's total abuse of power, you know? You go to court, you win your case, the case is final, all the appeals are dismissed, and they just refuse to pay. What kind of lawlessness is that?
What sort of interventions are you seeking? Have you been able to get around people of higher authority to let them know about what's happening, because the government is a one unit?
Yes, I've tried to reach to some presidential advisors because I felt the legal thing was not really working. But you know the problem in Liberia, people don't have a sense of justice in this country. People, when they're in power, more or less they just see the benefits of the power, but not like to pursue the cause of justice. So, I mean, for now, I feel like the FIA, they are concerned about their international reputation. So I'm planning to write a minister, and I'm going to send copies to every international body that the FIA is a participant of, just to let the international community know how lawless and irresponsible they are. So that's my first initial step. I will write the Minister of Justice and let him know that this is a total abuse of office and he needs to take action. And I will send a copy of that communication to every international organization that the FIA is a part of. And then after that, maybe if there is a change of judge in the court in Kakata, then I will file another information to the court that since they issue the order, they have not paid. Look, the thing is very simple. You understand, Trokon? When people defy the court is supposed to jail the person that defy the court. It's supposed to hold them in contempt and fine them for contempt and jail them. So if the FIA director is issued a court order and he consistently and persistently defy the court order, if you were ordinary citizen, you don't think you were going to be arrested? He was obviously going to be arrested. But because he's a government official, he has the opportunity. That's how we run in the country. That when you're a government official, you have a privilege to abuse the law and go with impunity. And that's some of the things that keep Liberia backward. Okay? When they say everybody is equal before the law, it means if the ordinary man violates, he suffers the same penalty as the government minister or as the millionaire. Okay, so these guys continue to defy the court order. Any other person, ordinary person defy court order, that person will be behind bars.
Okay. Okay. Is there any other thing you want to say before we take leave of you very quickly?
Yeah, so I'm calling on the government. Every day they go around, they look for investors, this and that. One of the major components of whether people come to your country to do business is the rule of law. The FIA is an agency of government, in fact, a law enforcement agency of government. For them to be in the business of defying court order and for the court not to be able to take action, notwithstanding the fact that I have, lodged multiple motions for them to enforce their own judgment is very bad. This is a continuous abuse of authority. And it needs to end. So
what was the last position in which you served before the termination of your contract?
I was legal affairs manager for the FIA, and I worked with them at that time the money laundering regime was very new. So they had no laws on money laundering or anything like that, no regulation. Ask anybody there. I spearheaded the 3 statutes, a whole regulation that currently are being used. We had to draft it, coordinate it with international and local partners, and then those laws were sent to the president. At that time it was Madam Salih, and she passed all of those into law. I even have evidence of the time we went to the legislature to give testimony backing that why those laws should be passed. But of course, in Liberia, if you speak about corruption, it's a big problem. The moment you speak about corruption, people are going to want to eliminate you. So yeah, they eliminated me, fine, and I'm out of Liberia. It's not a big deal, but the court has ruled FIA is not above the law. They must. And if the director refuses to abide by court order, he should be arrested and jailed.
Okay. Thank you, Antonio Law.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Trokon. It was nice having you doing the interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilor. Did I say Councilor Anthony Wonder Freeman? He's the former. Yeah, he's the former legal affairs manager of the FIA. He said he worked for them for I think 3 years. His contract was terminated. After the termination of his contract, benefits due him were not paid. He had to run to the labor ministry. The labor ministry ruled against the FIA. They went to the FIA, took appeal to the labor court. The court ruled in his favor, and according to him up to now, the court ordered that some money be paid to him as some settlement or some fees they owed him. But he says up to now, the FIA is yet to comply. Well, we will leave it at that, and we hoping to get to the FIA to get their side, maybe, just maybe tomorrow. We'll have them because I'm trying all over to get to them while the interview was ongoing. Unfortunately, even before the interview, I couldn't get anybody. So we will look into that. We'll have the FIA here on the line. We intend to talk to them, and then when we hear the response, the public can be the judge of what has transpired between they and their former employees. So we move very quickly on the issue of Great Faith, the man who represented Charles Taylor when Taylor was at The Hague doing the trial. Let's take a gist of what it was, and let's hear this. Let's do this very quickly before we go to some of the discussion points.
The time required to revitalize, for example, the timber industry took us about 2.5 years between trying to encourage people to return, giving them incentives.
That's the voice of Mr. Taylor.
We were just preoccupied with Liberia, not talking about having added the whole Sierra Leone part of it, with my colleagues encouraging me. But in short, I was preoccupied with trying to get Liberia back to life. This was my preoccupation.
And how soon after you were elected president did you become a member of the Committee of Five?
Oh, almost immediately.
And why did you become a member?
Well, I felt that after my colleagues jokingly asked me to, in fact, forced me to join, I thought that I could be of some help because I realized that unless peace returned to Sierra Leone, there was no way that Liberia could make it. Absolutely no way. There were still some 260,000 Sierra Leonean refugees in Liberia during the war, while there were also some maybe 50, 60,000 Liberians in Sierra Leone and Guinea. Now, when you look at that, you can see that it was extraordinarily important that everything was done to bring peace to Sierra Leone because, number one, yes, there were all these accusations. There are always accusations. And I'm sure these learned judges understand with that when presidents accuse presidents, sometimes they're trying to what they call draw smoke. For example, so many times I accused Tijen Kaba. He accused me. It didn't mean that it was factual. Okay, so you have this situation where you have all these movements, you have the refugees you're trying to bring in. So it was the situation where I felt that we were so intertwined that the international community, looking at these accusations, were denying me aid. We could not get aid. We could not get assistance. So they tied the life of Sierra Leone, and if I may say that figuratively speaking, they tied the life of Sierra Leone to the life of Liberia. So for me, it became a duty and a responsibility to help in whatever way that I could to help end this conflict in Sierra Leone, because unless it ended, Liberia would never move. That's why I got involved.
Did you want to remain president of Liberia?
Did I want to remain?
Yes.
Well, of course, I felt I could make a difference. Yes, I wanted to remain president of Liberia because I felt that I could make a difference.
Well, that's the voice of former President Charles Taylor, Charles Ganky Taylor, and he was speaking during his trial in The Hague. And the man you hear asking those questions was cuttingly Great Faith. Great Faith was a British barrister who served as lead defense counsel for former Liberian President Charles Taylor during his war crime trial. So he died on yesterday at age 70, and we thought to just give you a reminder and to bring a short portion of what he did with the former president. So he was the legal counsel for Mr. Charles Taylor. Our condolences to the British people, to his family, and let's move on. So on yesterday, the Commission on Higher Education released a long list of names of schools in different categories of the violations. And they had A, they had B, they had C, and the D was the last list. And that list contains schools that they've revoked or they've ordered them not revoked because they don't have, according to the National Commission on Higher Education, they didn't have that authority to operate because they didn't know about them. So they shut them down and said they were not operating until they meet certain requirements. And then in category C, your yes schools, that lack laboratory, that lack libraries. They do not have any system in place according to the National Commission on Higher Education. And then you go to category B, you have schools that have instructors with fake degrees and credentials. They have some administrative problems in that category B and A at the University of Liberia, Cottonton, AMEU, AMEZU, the United Methodist University, and some of the big name schools you will hear around here, even Stella Maris Polytechnic, some of the very big name schools you will hear around here. And I thought it should be a national conversation. Why do I think so? The sorts of generation of leaders we train, the output is what we will get when they enter public and private spaces to serve the nation. I was here, was it the scene yesterday and some other time? Barack Obama, the former president of the U.S., when he addressed the British Parliament, was it in 2011 or thereabout, he told them that Great Britain and the United States trained their workforce in some of the best universities and colleges on earth. That's why part of their success has been achieved, because people they've trained are contributing immensely to nation building, to innovation, to technology, to science, and invention. So it's a broad and wider topic that we need to have a national conversation. That's why I'll endeavor to have an educator here to give us, from an education standpoint, the challenges at hand. And then we could talk about the output and what it means for the country, private sector and its public sector. Because, for instance, there is this crisis about job in the country, and we have laws that said Liberians should be given every priority to have jobs, serious and every priority over foreigners and aliens arriving in our country to have jobs, to work. But in some instances and in some cases, productivity will be low, even in our own field, journalism, which is not free. At certain point in time, some media colleagues or some, you see the difference. Whether it is in the health sector, whether we are talking about the security sector, whether we are talking about the engineering sector, whether we are talking about, even the classroom teachers that stand before the people who are supposed to be future leaders to teach them, their lapses. And we are getting the kind of output we are getting because of the kind of institutions we acquired our education from, and the men and women who stand before us to say they are imparting. Don't get me wrong, there are some very good schools, there are some very good instructors, there are some very good administration, and they exist. But for a lack of better word, the others who do not meet those qualifications could be in higher number. I'm saying could be in higher number. And we live in a country where, people throw anything at us and we accept. Anybody come to the country, they open school any kind of way they want to open it. They teach us whatever they want to teach us, whether they've been supervised or whether the people who supervise them know what they are doing but fail to do their work properly. We are caught between the scissors. On one hand, there are a generation of young people who are very serious, who want to learn, but sometimes they bother with the very bad apple. And there is a particular generation that do not care. All they know, they go to school, They must get grades, they must pass, whether they spy or they inspire or the teacher help them, they should get grades. And at the end analysis, tomorrow, they got degree. And they told the degree under their arm, they pass it around. They go sit public tests, they can't do anything. You gave them the job, even your fair salary for them, productivity is at an all-time low. And some of what we're discussing can be attributed to the lack of proper learning facilities and environment, the lack of qualified teachers in the classrooms. Let's do a practical analysis of some of the universities in town. See where they operate from. See their infrastructures. Get to the classroom and listen to some of the teachers who are teaching people that are supposed to get undergraduate degree. Listen to them. Hear the output. You will understand and have a feel of what we are saying. And we are saying this because some of us have not gone to school anywhere outside of the country. We've been here. We started preschool here. And we've done almost everything here. And you listening to me, you know exactly what I'm talking. Some of you that graduated, y'all know how you graduated from these universities. And you got lectures on some of the people who taught you and how they treated you about grades business. But we feel comfortable. Nobody's taking any action. We who are the students who are supposed to be very serious, we gave in and don't challenge some of these decisions. So the very foundation is weak. We take that very weak mind and go to university, and it is almost times 2. See the infrastructures we sit on, even the main campus of the University of Liberia. And I'm mentioning the UEL because it is a state-sponsored university. It's a state-run university with a budget that should be catered to by the government of Liberia in all aspects. Enter libraries, enter laboratories. Come to some of these schools in Central Monrovia. See, the first place when you see the environment in which the school operates or the place they operate from, you know that they are joking. The environments are not conducive. The infrastructures are poor. The teachers they have, some are not qualified. And people just walk through some of these walls, get degrees, and come to the public. Time to perform on their job, they remain very lazy. Very lazy. So we are seeing this thing as the National Commission on Higher Education is doing this thing, and we hope the government will take an action, but it should be a national conversation. By this time, Mr. President, you should be able to issue an executive order. This is what I think. Establishing a specific action group that will do a comprehensive credential audit of the country. There are proven records where people have lied on their degrees. And some of the people who've lied about acquiring certain knowledge are the same people who stand in classroom to say they're imparting knowledge. There are instances, Mr. President, where some of the university campuses in this country do not represent university campus. Go to the infrastructure. The president should pay, or the Minister of Education should pay visit to these areas and see where students sit and learn. You will know that the environment is poor and it is contributing to the output. The backbone of every country in the world is a productive civil service. It is a productive workforce, either in the private sector or in the public sector. That is why countries around the world pay attention to the education sector, because to have the country be what you want it to be, you need educated people, you need minds of diversity, you need people who are educated in different fields. Especially as the world moves towards technology, you need people who are strong technologically. You need people who are inventing. You need people who are innovative. Do we as a country have that capacity? Especially at some of these schools we see around here. We don't have it. These schools charge plenty of money. Some people $28 for credit hour. Some places $35 for credit hour. Some places $17, $15, so on and so forth. See the infrastructures they offer where people sit. See the environment. It doesn't worth what people pay for. What the National Commission on Education has started, Mr. President, need your political will. And part of that will, some of us would like to see a proper and holistic action that compel these schools to create better learning environment, that carry on, a proper credential audit, so that when Trokon stands in front of students who want to be journalists, Trokon may have acquired certain knowledge in journalism. Trokon may have a proven track record of a very good journalist. Like that, Trokon will be able to impact effectively and make an impact on the society. Now people just grabbing anybody from anywhere, bring them in a classroom, they say they're a university teacher, and we ask that these exercises be extended to the high school level. There are too many mushroom schools around the country. And they are taking advantage of our people because they are poor, they do not have money. So when you see any school that open and say you pay this, they send their children there. Nothing these kids are learning in most instances. I'm not saying all of the schools. Listen to me very well. I'm not saying all of the schools. There are very good schools around here. Some of us, our parents did not have money, but went to some very good schools. Schools where we had teachers that were devoted, that taught us, that didn't give us pamphlet to pay for. They devoted their time to write and explain the notes. We had schools where teachers did not tell us to write tests or to write assignment and put something in the assignment to carry on campus. We had schools where teachers never told us at the final analysis to go see our grades to a house or in the teacher lounge, and then you're told to pay something. We went to those schools. There are schools currently in the country, Mr. President. If education is a serious pillar of the arrest agenda, something must be done. Something must be done. Because if not, we are headed for trouble. What are we teaching the kids? Look at our primary education. Look at the beginner level. See the mass failure that comes from public exams, at times. The preparatory level contribute to that. And people are not strong enough to get to these universities. Some of these universities, because they're looking for money, they don't even properly evaluate. People get there, they see where they manage to leave from high school, they get to that same level, they pass through tomorrow they become graduates. Some say they are accountants, some say they are bankers, some say they are journalists, some say they are medical doctors, some say they are nurses, some say they are engineers. You ask them to build the roads, they are unable. We have to call the Chinese to come here and build our roads, despite we having engineers graduating every year. We have to call economists from outside to read our economic papers, in some cases, to make economic analysis for us. Yet, we have people we said we've trained at our universities and colleges in the country. I'm not saying professionals are not here. They are here. But let's look at the overall performance of workers in the private sector and the public sector. It's terrible and it needs urgent attention. If we have not had any national conversation on a particular subject matter, what the Commission on Higher Education has begun with should give us the vehicle to move into discussion, to move into think tank, to move into action, to say, no, we have to arrest this situation. Like I said, countries that are making progress around the world are countries with smart citizens, educated in some instances. They are inventing, they are innovating, they are into technology. Are we ready for this 21st century world we are in? Check around us, see Liberia. And we think the only thing that's contributing to the backwardness of the country is just petty corruption or corruption in higher places. Sometimes the output of the workforce contribute immensely to where the country is. People serve in position they got no qualifications for. People are appointed because they support a certain political party or say, I'll say, and we downplay the expertise and we don't give them job. At a certain point in time, people will even ask you that bull will eat. And we keep going in cycle as a country. And we think we are going to make any progress anytime soon. There should be a national conversation. That national conversation should be anchored on how we can grab this thing holistically about the education sector. What new measures can we employ? Who are the partners that are establishing university? What standards should they meet? We can have universities in the country, some of them in Central Town, in one tight corner. You even enter the building, there's leakages. Even the University of Liberia is not exempt. You enter the bathroom, you feel bad. You enter the campuses, they are tight, there's no good environment. How do you expect for people to learn? How do you expect for people to learn? People who have had opportunities to travel, who have gone to countries, will bear us witness that when you enter a university campus in some countries, you will want to learn. The features, the infrastructures, the kind of instructors, their biography, their credentials will tell you that this school is a very serious school. In our country, people just get to the classroom, there's no passion, that's one. Some of them may know the subject, there's poor presentation skills. At the end result, students are entangled. They don't even know their way out. And we think we are making progress. Thankfully, Senator Natana Mangel will be here, and he chairs the Senate Committee on Education. Yes, I know he chaired that committee. I know whether he still chairs it. But we'll talk to him on that, and we'll have a deep conversation. It is about time we hold this thing from a holistic standpoint. How to train the next generation of leaders. How to free ourselves from what we are going through with the messy and poor system in which we find ourselves. We need to move forward. And we want to employ the Ministry of Education, the National Commission on Higher Education, want to employ that institution and ask that Gwangewon, that his name, Gwangewon or whatever, to do better, to move forward, to keep his head up, to do what is right. Because to weed these bad apples will not be an easy thing. It will not be an easy thing to weed out these bad apples. Imagine the schools operating in the country at a higher level, and our institution that is responsible for registering these schools and giving them the permit to go ahead say, we don't know you, we don't know about you. You go to some places, they call the university name, you see the campus, you feel discouraged. This school is supposed to be a university. You go to some places, say a high school, you feel discouraged. When it tells you this is a TVET institution, there's no equipment, there's no plan for practical skills. They're in one tight little area. They take out of the money, stay in that place for a number of years, and teach absolutely nothing. Except students who want to be serious, that go beyond what this instructor will say, do their own research, they read more. Don't get me wrong, there are some very good teachers and instructors in the country. But I want to believe that the ones that are not good are more than the ones that are good. The ones that are not passionate about education, about teaching, are more than the ones that are passionate. What is the education we are imparting? What knowledge are we transferring to the next generation of leaders? The progress of the nation will definitely depend on the output of its workforce, how innovative they will be, how prepared they are to look through the lenses and fight the challenges heads on and find solution. And that's somebody gets some kind of document or do it, get it out and they put it down and go home. Because they don't have the technical know-how. They don't know where to start from. In this time and age, there are even journalism school named. There are even journalism schools named in that report that are operating legally. Imagine if they are doing illegal operation, what is it they are imparting the people? What education are they giving? It should be a whole national conversation. It should be a national conversation because these schools are here to prepare the next workforce, the next leaders, the next civil servants, the next workers of the private sector. If they are not prepared to get into the private sector, if they are not prepared to join the workforce to do what they ought to do for the country, you think this country will make progress? And we think that only corruption won't start in the country progress. Sometimes the workforce, the way we appoint people, we send people to places that they got no knowledge about. We send unqualified individuals. We give them position. At the end result, they do nothing. They are unable to do any analysis. They see research papers. They see, things they're supposed to work on. They get tired and leave office. Some chunk those documents away because they are unable to work on them and they leave. It is bad. It is very bad. And the government will have to stand its ground to weed out these institutions that are weak, that do not have the pedigree, that do not have what it takes to be higher institution of learning. You can't go to one place, they call the place university, the campus bad off, bathroom nasty, school campuses are leaking, classrooms are tight, 50, 60 people in one class, they're sweating, the instructor comes to class, he's staying in the classroom speaking colloquial, doing absolute. What is it the people are learning? Nothing. And it's all over. You want to talk about the UL, the AME, the Zion, the UMU, the Cottington. Thankfully that report said it. That the credential, all this they've done, found out that teachers in these schools or instructors are not qualified. What is it we're teaching the people? And we think every day, only corruption. What are people steal? They steal. We just say they steal. With no proof, with no evidence. And we think that only it making the country look the way it is. Go out of the country. People who are in their 17, 18 years, who are out of high school, have conversation with these kids. They are thinking about how their country will be in the next 10, 15, 20 years. They will tell you, in this country, if you were to assemble 100 high school graduates today and ask them, what do they think about Liberia? 10, 15% will not even give you comprehensive response. You wouldn't get it. When I went for my Medina Washington Fellowship, we were opportune to interact with children at the level of 9, 10, 11, high school. And these children were telling us how they see their country, America, in the next 10, 15, 20 years when they are able to work. How they envisage their country, how they want to change things. I come back to my country and I'm asking high school students, I've gone to lecture with them and some of them do not even know their career path. Some do not even know their own strength. It is not that they don't want to know, but it is as a result of the kind of schools we operate, the kinds of teachers we have. It's terrible. We need to do better. If we do not do better, we are headed for trouble. We have to do better. We will have to do better. And the people who are the stakeholders in the education sector will have to start to strategize on what we need to do to free the country of what I see as total mess. You go to one university, people only offer grades. Don't even care what they're learning or who's teaching them what. In some instances, the students themselves are very unserious. Oh yes, I know so. I don't think so, I know so. In many instances, the students are very unserious and will not even pay attention to their lessons. and you have a lazy teacher who's not already qualified and put up for a class where everybody out on their phone, nobody asking questions, nobody paying attention to a lesson. He just say anything he wants to say. Nobody going to do research to challenge what he says. He comes back, give them bucket tests, they fail. The instances, they take money from them, they get an A, they get an B. Before you look, that person graduates. Some on a graduation day to even speak, they start crying only because they didn't know what to say. And somebody said that tear or joy, oh, that tear or joy. Some do not absolutely know what to say. We'll have this conversation. We'll continue it. I missed out on bringing that educator on today, but I really want to have a panel. And I know when Judas is here, Judas is very good at doing that. Judas will also want to invite these people, Clarence, and I was having a conversation this morning, and we want to do so. And we have to start to bring the professionals to speak about these issues. We have to start to bring policy makers to talk about it. What can we do at this point in time? And one of the questions is, if this commission higher education is saying they didn't give credit to these people, or they didn't certify them to operate, how come they've been operating and graduating people? That's another question too. How has these people been operating and graduating people, and we say we don't know about them, but we hear their names on the radio, we hear the announcements, they put up graduates, these graduates are on social media, people are testifying, these schools are having radio announcements, they are visible in communities where even some of the people who work with the commission and higher education and the Ministry of Education live. How don't we know that these schools are not eligible to operate, but we allow them to operate after years they've put up graduate? What become of those people they've put up as graduate? Are we not going to accept the documents? What become of other people who've paid their money to these schools that you've shut down? It's a whole complicated thing. Senator McGill is already here. We take a few calls, so we're taking earlier that we'll have more conversation. My name is Trokon Wrepue. Let's take a few calls. Let's hear from you. We will continue to talk about the education sector and all other sectors of our country, but it is important that we train our workforce in better schools and better universities. Without that, we'll make no progress here. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Good evening, Trokon.
Yes, let's hear you, bossman.
Thank you so much. My name is Adam Kong, and I joined the conversation for 20 years.
Go ahead, Adam.
Yes, let me appreciate you. Trokon, let you spoke. I think it's a whole complicated thing with this revisitation of our educational requirements. And I think the national institution responsible for that needs to go beyond. The biggest question now that we are left with is what will become of the people that have acquired documents from those institutions.
From the illegal, quote-unquote, illegal institution, what will you do? You will say they're not part of us? Or they're not part of the educated people?
Their documents are being accepted in the larger society already. Some of them, their documents have gone across the country. They are institutions.
Some of the people are working in the same government. They are working in private sectors.
So they are in different sectors. So what are we going to do? So we need to have a national conversation about that, so that I think we can make the necessary preparation so that the future generation will not be affected in this thing.
Okay. Thank you so kindly. Hello?
Yeah, hello, Big Brother Trokon.
Let's hear you, Cabinet, for fun.
Okay, thank you so much for the recognition. Big Brother Trokon, I start relatively in my resident Claratan monitoring the show. No, Big Brother, you spoke and the way you're supposed to speak, right? You just lay all of the issues rightly. That we have been settled from day one from good education, right? Because we have been lacking and the right leadership. But Big Brother Trokon, what I can assure you and the entire population is that before the end of President Baka's 12th year, Big Brother Trokon, no need for anybody to leave for here to go Harvard University. President Baka will take the education system in this country. Liberia or the University of Liberia campus, the same facilities or the same quality education people are acquiring from Harvard University will be acquiring in here.
What assurance do we have that we know what Harvard is?
Hello?
You know what Harvard University is?
Hello. People are talking. Right?
No, but I think you're talking, my man. They're not busy. You can't tell me on the radio that Joseph Poga administration, the same education for acquiring Harvard, we acquire here. What are you talking here?
I want to believe that you want the president who not praying for the country.
What am I praying for? You think to make country better than prayer? But you think that prayer can make country better? That innovation, that creativity, the mind God gave us is what was about you. What they call prayer?
Please allow me to lead the business. Hello.
Yeah, keep praying. Go ahead. Yeah, and in a few seconds, so we'll take others.
Okay. So to conclude, President Boga is doing everything to his best to make the country a better place.
Thank you. Hello.
Good afternoon, Trokon.
Yeah, keep praying. We might not use our brain to work with you. Keep praying. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the conversation. I'm Kepler Escobar Jr. calling from Panaville, Better Hill Community.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons we having problem in our school system is that you got one teacher teaching more than 2, 3, 4 subjects.
I see.
And with that, it makes it difficult for one teacher to say we have a lot of lessons. You got to prepare the lesson, you do lesson plan. So I graduated from St. Peter. Let me be frank. No one teacher ever taught more than one subject. One teacher, one subject. With that, you have efficiency from that teacher. But you got one man or one woman teaching almost 3 subjects. How do you expect that person to be so effective? So at the end result, the teacher got over 1, and then at the end result, they just write. They won't explain, we don't give you any detail about what they are writing. And they leave, they go to another school. Some of these people, you see, they are teaching more than 2, 3, 4 schools. So this is our problem. So I want to thank you ever so much. The government needs to step in. And you talk about competence and qualification. There are people who are qualified, they are not competent. That's different. Because they have a degree, but they don't know what they are working for.
Okay.
That is, they only got the paper, but they are not competent enough. So thank you ever so much.
Thank you, dear brother. Hello?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Let's hear you.
Yeah, this is Momo Koba. I'm calling from Fiama.
Go ahead, Momo.
Yeah, it's just name and day because education in Liberia, people call it the end of the trying to politicize. It's not about politics in Liberia. The thing started way back. Some of us were in school. Understand.
The other man say we need to be praying.
Yeah.
Our prayer.
Our in-law carry, like the previous caller stated, this teacher was example of subject. But since like people couldn't afford the money now switch, it wasn't easy in the next private school. Teacher will come and won't collect money and in fact they will not be qualified for the lesson. Their faces are asked the teacher specifically from last faces book. They may say give me the faces book. So when I give it to him, they see the map was drawn in a book from page to page in your answer in it.
Okay.
I felt weak. So like how you looking, the people not really know the teacher and say now you qualify.
Thank you. Let's talk to this person. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Let's hear you.
Yeah, Trokon, am I live?
You're not live. I'll say let's hear you again, brother.
Okay, this is Charles Cooper. I call from Coffee Dupero.
Go ahead.
A professional classroom teacher.
Okay, Charles.
You see, Trokon, there are 2 things that we from the Professional Teacher Association of Liberia have recognized.
What are those 2 things?
1, educational financing. 2, the professionalization of the educational sector. These are the 2 biggest challenges that Liberia face right now. When it comes to education, Trokon, it requires finances. You know, to run an educational institution, you need money. Like you said, it's not prayer. We are all Christian, but we should not add that only us that Christ died for. You know, many of us are Liberians we think that only us Christ died for, or Christ so love us that he doesn't love the other countries. And I think that is a myth. The Bible says work, it says faith without work is a dead faith.
But brother, I'm not cutting you off. All the other countries are making progress around the world. There are people going for prayer, fasting prayer every day. People using their brain.
It's about God. It means that God already bestowed upon us wisdom or knowledge. So how do we use our knowledge to get a good end product? Is what matters. But you see, in Liberia, we do everything in a holy way. But Trokon, like I said, I've been in the classroom for over 15 years. There are many challenges. Maybe we'll have some of the opportunity to sit on your show.
You get a time tomorrow. We Friday, but I will call you. Just send me a message after here. Text me your name on this number. I can call you, and then we can find another 1 or 2 persons. So we can come.
The Professional Teacher Association, like bro.
Great.
So there are a whole lot of issues in the classroom in our school system, my brother.
Good. We will endeavor to have you on Friday. Just send me a message before I forget it. Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk. I'll look at my schedule too.
Thank you so much. Let's take a few more calls, then we will take a break and usher in the McGivey County Senator. Hello.
How are you, Chief?
I'm fine. Let's hear you.
I call from Soviet Congo Town, District of Mosera County.
Go ahead.
Thank you for the issue on the discussion. You see, some of the schools in Liberia are very in a deplorable condition. Now, school suspensions were done by Ellen, we are administration, so it's a usual habit. They get any practical steps from this Royal Commission and Ministry of Education against the institution. Because sometimes when they put on the graduate, put brain in the graduate, say, oh, you just graduated from university or high school, why is it restrict for you cannot propound or you cannot transcript what you learn? And sometimes you can be the learning process. And these are challenging conditions facing in our country. For example, when I'm in the 8th grade in Maryland County, I have my teacher, I will not call her name. They met each time when you enter in class, because you're teaching English. But each time when you enter in class, every day we'll be discussing gerund phrase. And everybody knows that gerund phrase is a word I So it's not...
What kind of phrase you'll be discussing?
Gerund phrase. Every day when you enter. So one upon a time when you enter, one upon a time when a guy enter, so I think about teacher, because I will not call her name, teacher. But each time when you enter, this particular topic, gerund phrase is what we'll be talking. And I think you need to change it because English as a whole is a complicated
I know he felt offended.
No, the never offended. I didn't say, but who said that? Sorry, that means so repeat that. But you know, we enter that particular there is it didn't make you go out. So each time when the man enter, he said, man, who is that guy? He said, oh, but we said the thing, and we finish with it, no, make you go out because you feel that you know everything. Sorry, but I don't know everything because each time we enter that particular subject, so you know the changes so much. So it is proving that teachers does not have authority for the educational facility. So by the steps taken by the commission, I think it's something that welcome, but something you have to go bigger because most of the schools in Liberia and the learning facilities are cruising.
Thank you. Let's hear you. Go ahead.
Thank you again for highlighting. My name is Laura and Colin. I call from Central Town.
Go ahead, brother.
I would like to begin Chapter 2 of the Liberian Constitution on General Principle of National Policy, Article 6 says the Republic shall, because of the vital role assigned to the individual citizen under this Constitution for the social, economic, and political well-being of Liberia, provide equal access to education opportunities and facilities for all citizens to the extent of available resources. Emphasis shall be placed on the mass education of the Liberian people and the elimination of illiteracy. Again, it falls on the lap of our government. We need to tailor resources where resources should be tailored. And what you say, beyond the sensationality of what NCHE have done, we need to spend time. How do we solve this problem? More than 22 years since the Civil War stopped. Liberia is still having the same issue every now and then. NCHE will come with the same funding, and yet nothing has been done. We need to hold our government accountable. They must perform their duty and perform their part of the social contract. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so kindly. Right after this one, we'll take a break. Hello?
Yeah. Hello, Trokon.
Let's hear you.
You know,
call your name first. Call your name. Call your name first.
I'm Prince Tamanyuma calling from Louisiana.
Okay.
FNL. I was laughing when somebody talked about prayer.
Yeah,
right?
we must be praying for the country. We pray for the country to get better. You got to work.
We are trying to
offer
this to the Bible, and we are conflicting what the Bible says. The Bible is very clear about prayer, and the Bible is saying you should work before you get. In fact, no proof for laziness. You can't be praying and you sleep, and what you're supposed to do, you are so corrupt and corrupted. You do your corruption in so many ways. When you are praying, you expect things to change by just your prayer, and that it doesn't work that way. I think we have to read things and do things as they're supposed to be done and move the country forward.
Okay.
Everybody are praying. Yeah, thank you so much, Trokon.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All of these countries are making progress around the world. You think they're doing fast and pray? Where their citizens go sit down, everybody go to the church, they pray for the country to get better. These people are working. They are training their people in some of the best universities and colleges, and their people are willing to learn. We say that, they will say, they pray. We're not praying. We must do something for ourselves. This is the conversation. Senator McGill is already here. We will take a break. Right after that break, we will have some very important, lengthy conversation with him. It's been a while since I last hosted him here.
Hey, they're rushing. Why are you rushing to so?
You, Judy, don't give me a hard time, man. I'm going to the bank to get my cash because the bank was so close.
You can use the ATM?
My ATM card expired ever since.
My man, you don't need ATM card. Just use the mobile app and generate an e-token. All you have to do is to just log on the app, you click on Express Cash. Then you select ATM. From there now you select Generate e-token. Then you select the account you want the money to come from. From there you select the currency that you want. If they're Liberian dollars or US dollars. Then you put in the amount that you want, whether $10 or $20, you put it in and you generate your e-token. It's simple, like 8 numbers that will come to you. When you get that number, just go to any ATM there. All you have to do is to just select the See Express Cash on the ATM now. The place where you're supposed to put your ATM pin, that way you pull that 8 number. Then it will ask you for the amount. That money where you generated, that money will come on the ATM will pay you.
So simple. Ego Binance for me again. I will always make use of the Express service big time. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Your favorite RLJ Kendeja Resort and Villas is new and improved with top-notch first-class services guaranteed to make you feel pampered and special as our royal guests. Ideally located on the RI Highway, a few minutes drive from the rehab junction, right in front of the Atlantic Ocean, you are assured of a peaceful, serene atmosphere of a home away from home. The ingredients for our Liberian meals are freshly picked from our garden to give you that unforgettable taste of Liberian cuisine. Our villas are designed and equipped to ensure every night spent with us is a memorable one. We are well positioned to host conferences and seminars of all sizes, as well as outdoor events like garden weddings and parties. Book your upcoming events and leave the rest for us to handle with 100% satisfaction guarantee. You can reach us on 0770-533-415 or email us at reservations@kendejaresort.com.lr. Visit our website on www.rljkendejaresort.com.lr. RLJ Kendeja Resort and Villas, for memories worth repeating.
Thank you so much. Welcome back to the conversation. My name is Trokon Wrepue, and I'm here live with me now in the studios is Magibi County Senator Nathaniel McGill, and there are a lot of issues we will talk about. He's been out of Liberia and Senate for a couple of months now, and he chairs the Senate Committee on Education, and this is where we will begin, because I was talking about the education sector and what both the public and private sector need to do, because I think it's a holistic thing that you have a holistic approach. If the students themselves are not willing to put in time to learn, we will not grow the public and private sector workers and workforce that we need to grow to invent, to innovate as the world goes towards technology, and series of other issues. He's raising concern over the Ministry of Agriculture, some 200,000 United States dollars, 2 million, right? 200 million United States dollars. He's talking about that. It's in the Wrepue project, and he's called for some form of accountability. He also talked about the accelerometer issue. So we'll be talking a lot, and then we'll look closely within the CDC from where he hails. He's considered as one of the strategists in that party. But let's welcome Senator McGill. It's a pleasure having you here again. Since you became senator, it's the second time sitting here on me.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't know that. But thank you very much.
The first time you were here with Vavle and I.
Thank you, Sugar. Thank you. It's a pleasure being here. I'm always excited to come and make my contribution, at least to let the public know how we think. And, so thank you.
How has it been like over the couple of a year and a month now at the Liberian Senate in a tandem McGill transitioning from the executive to the legislature, being a principal, chief of office staff to a president, and now you are in the Senate, you control a whole county, you are in. How has it been like for you? How was that transition like?
Well, it's always a learning curve, you know. When you go to any school, even if you have PhD and you enter a school, you are you call it freshman. Mm-hmm. In the Senate, you are like a rookie. Even you're a billionaire, you enter the Senate, you are a junior to your colleagues who have been there. So you have to learn, to understand how the system works. Because, you know, a 30% in the Senate, and over there is not where you make an independent opinion, you just give instructions. You got to lobby with your friends. If you want things done, you got to lobby with your colleagues. You got to convince them. You know, over there, you always say the minority will have their opinion, but the majority
take the day.
Will prevail. So it's not everything you want you will get done. In an executive, when you are the boss, you make the final decision. So there's two different things. So there's completely two different areas of learning. But it's been a good exercise for me to engage my colleagues, to learn a lot how the Senate work, and so I'm enjoying it. You know, it's a tough area, and sometimes you want something and your colleague disagree, and you are upset. But you have to follow the rules. The rules is the majority will prevail. So
you have to lobby more.
You have to lobby more. So sometimes when the politics come in, I don't know whether you follow even American politics. What will end our democracy? You see Republicans and Democrats. Democrats are complaining. They are not complaining. The Republicans used to be complaining before, but Democrats not complaining. The Republicans having their will.
Yeah, they control the House and
even
the Senate
with two members vote in the House of Representatives, I think 2 or 4 members, they get their day. I mean, if Republicans don't break and support the Democrats, you don't get away through. So,
they're where the bipartisan comes in.
Of course, but yeah, you know, there's sometimes. The frustrating part, when you get in, don't remember get away, man. You are Minister of State,
you president of here.
So, well, it's very interesting. Your colleagues, you know, sometimes they make joke out of you.
How does it feel being an opposition senator?
Well, it's tough because it's tough, especially in every context. I just give the American context. Right now, the Democrats complaining why the president did not seek, according to them, some authorization to go to Iran.
Yeah.
And so it's a similar thing here. You want things done, and your colleague think that, man, I see, man, I think dog in there, he wasting his time. And they make joke out of you, they try to get things done. So when you are in the opposition, you got to be, the opposition is for the advocate, to call the government to attention on things that we believe are not going right, that we believe are in the interest of the country, not in the interest of our party now. So we are advocating for the country. But at the end of the day, majority have to make the decision. They think that their policy, the way they want to drive the country, that had things going, so they move it. But whenever they bring things that we believe, generally in our view, is good for the country, we support it. Because at the end of the day, look, Liberia belongs to all of us. And so we can't go there and say because the thing you're doing, that your party doing it, so we disagree just because we want to disagree. No.
Has there been a time, point in time where you as Senator McGill has gone on the floor, open up a debate and your friends entertain and buy in? Has there been that time?
Oh yeah,
that you feel proud.
Yeah, so
that yes, I've done this.
Of course, because once you're making issue in the interest of the country, and they believe that it's for the good of the country, they will support it. And sometimes when they're doing things that we think is wrong, we try to disagree, especially when the president came to office. The way they were removing people, the way they were not following the rules, when we call their attention, they say that presidential power, the president got to do this. And some people say the president got to do this. So we say, no, the president should not do that. And the president got to consult with the Senate. And so there's disagreement.
And one of your roles is to ensure the president is disciplined to do what is right.
Well, you know, at the end of the day, you still got to get a majority, brother. If you don't have a majority, you can be ordered.
That's what I say. One of your roles.
Yeah, of course, oversight. Oversight responsibility, which is a major function, cardinal function of the legislature. Our oversight responsibility. In terms of our oversight, if you don't have the majority on your side, they give the pass to the executive. And you may be angry, but you can't do anything about it because they have the majority. This is not only in Liberia. It happened all over the world. But that will not stop us from advocating for seeing what is right. When the wrong thing there, we say it wrong. And so the Senate is an interesting area, especially with 30 qualified men and women in the Senate. It's not.
I see a lot of powerful people in that Senate, in the sense like, I mean, you are there, former minister of state, principal, chief of staff to the president. I see 2 former speakers. I see deputy speaker.
I can tell you.
I see 2 former pro tem.
I can tell you this Senate is one of the best. I mean, in terms of caliber individuals,
the configuration.
You're talking about leaders of the country. I mean, you can see the quality of people there.
How is
all you guys have experience that can say the president can be leader of the country.
They're professionals there. Yeah. We must admit the likes of Amara Kone and the rest of the guys there.
Yeah,
How is the Nyombli Kanga leadership, by the way? A lot of people talk bringing a woman on board.
Listen, Nyombli has been a very good leader. She has been very accommodating. Sometimes you may not agree with her style, but she tried to accommodate all the senators in terms of our view. But mind you, she's a pro tem. She also has a responsibility to drive the agenda of the ruling party. But
she has an interest.
Yeah, but she has been our leadership has been very good. And she gave senator the opportunity to stay their position. But in the end, you have to convince your colleague on the floor. And if you fail to do that, so you can't blame her. But she has done extremely well since, I think, 1 year, 6 months now. She's done extremely well.
As elders, all of you in that room, do you sometimes give her pieces of advice? Is she willing to listen, or she believes she's the boss over there?
No. I've not seen her to be such a person. She listens a lot. You know, one of the times, sometimes she even called me her advisor. Because sometimes, Trokon,
and she used to deal with you when you were minister of state.
Trokon, one of the things we gotta learn in this country is to respect former officials. Trokon, when you're not in government, you believe it's a bread and butter issue. Not everything people see on the street that how government runs. When you are confronted with the issue, when you sit in the executive mansion and you are confronted with the problem or the state, how you manage it, how you solve the problem, it's quite different from when you are agitating and say you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta do this. It's completely different. And people don't understand that. So former leader people, the expertise they come with, the knowledge they come with is very significant. Trokon, since I left the government, I've learned a lot. Even being the government, being the executive and not being the legislature, I've learned a lot. And sometimes I sit by and say, maybe if I had the opportunity, I wouldn't make the decision that I made before. I would do it differently. Yeah, of course. And I guess some of our colleagues now in the executive, in this government, they've seen the challenges. When you're not in a position, you can make any statement you want to make. But when you are confronted with the problem, because human nature, governance is not a science. Because human nature changes every day. When people get hungry, even you get hungry, and you can't find food to eat, the first person you start blaming are the president or the government.
Most often the blame go to the president.
You blame go to, but what I'm saying that if people start blaming you, blame the government because you are hungry, you can't find food to eat. You believe that the government should be able to provide opportunity for you to eat. Like you're saying, even if you don't work, you just lying down home and believe that, oh my man, my problems always solved. You think the government should solve all of your problems, and which is not possible. It's not possible, Trokon. But the government also have the responsibility to create the enabling environment so that people can do their business, people can prosper. And that is the fundamental responsibility of the government. Create an enabling environment so that you can have peace, you can get security, your right can be protected, you can go out and find a job to do for yourself, you can create your own. There are a lot of people who don't want government job. They just want to do their businesses. But the government has to create that environment so they can come here and do their businesses. So you got to put policies and regulations in place so that if I don't want to go in government, I can create a private sector. And one of the areas we fail to create much, the Liberian private sector. So everything is depending on government. So when you win an election, all your parties in one job.
And the only area the job will be created, and that's the major thing, my brother. When people vote for you, even us as senators, people voted for us, they think that we should get a job. And each senator only gets 21 jobs to give out. But people still come to you every day and say, man, I don't get jobs. Sometimes through the promises you politicians give them. The way you make them believe that when you get there, everything is going to be...
That's not true. But man, even a president not vote for you, my brother, just become senator, all the people who coming from, where they coming from, different countries will say from your country. You don't know that? If somebody come from Monserrat, they say, man, oh chief, I'm from Magibio. The person come from Nima, oh chief, I'm from Magibio. The person come from Lofa country, oh chief, I'm from Magibio. Similar things are happening to other senators. So it's a difficult challenge. It's a difficult challenge that everybody has to face.
Great. If you're just joining us, a reminder, you're listening to the conversation. Magibi County Senator Nathaniel McGill is my guest, and we do this until 6 o'clock on today. We thought to give him a latitude of time, so we have some very wide range of discussion on different issues. Senator, you chair the Senate Committee on Education, and you work with other committees. And how has that committee been so far before coming to this whole thing about the National Commission Higher Education report?
Well, education has always been a challenge in Liberia. I know President Salif once said education was a mess, meaning that every government needs how to take the responsibility to improve the sector. So there have been gradual process to improve. When CZ took power, one of the things we met, one of the focus was that, look, there's several things you need to do in education. One, the facility first, make sure that create the environment, put the proper regulation in place, because people are now organizing schools, people opening schools just to do business, not to provide education, not to provide services. So if you get out to the Trokon, you want to open your school just because you want to make money, you say, man, what kind of business I want to make? I want to go teach or open school. Are you opening school just because you want to provide quality education, or you just want to make money? Some people open a school and just charge people. So these are things that need to be fixed in the sector. You're just talking about the private sector and the public sector, how we need to work together, how both the government and the private sector need to work to improve the educational sector. We've had series of meetings. I chair the educational sector. I've had meetings with different sectors. I've met the private sector, spoken to them. So now I talk to, for instance, Bishop Cotto Brown has called me a lot, who is a person who have great interest in education, and see how we can improve the sector. We have meeting with the minister to say, Madam Minister, look, the challenge we have in this country, the first challenge is parents don't have money. People are not working. Very small, very
portion of the country,
working. School fees are expensive. Project exorbitant school fees all over the place because project opening schools and charging people. So you got to put regulation in. If you open your school and you say pay $200, why are you paying? Why are you having a child to pay $200? Sometimes school fee, the graduation fee even more than the school fees. People are just giving exorbitant all sorts of facilities. Even the government say schools are free in public schools. They posted come with all kind of fees, different for breading on the parents. We have to find a way to reduce that. So when we came, for instance, when CC government took office, and say, you know what, let's address the issue of school fees. Because there's so many things in school, in education that you have to address. Quality of education. To have quality of education, you must make sure you have professional teachers. You have the professional teachers, trained teachers. You have the facility. When I mean facility, the
school environment.
The school environment. It got to be conducive for the children to go and learn. Then the school fee issue. But we couldn't address everything at the time. But one of the major things was to let people go to school. So government said,
the tuition policy.
Tuition policy will make school free. Even with that, people were still finding means to add additional fees on the students. So our chair on education, we're being engaged, especially the Senate and the pro tem, the entire Senate have interest in education. They pay more attention. That's the reason why in the budget, the last budget, you saw that the educational component of the budget was very high, around about 105 million. So we're trying to find, we met the Minister of Education and said, look, Madam Minister, you got to first of all start with regulation. First of all, start with the school structure. Before people start paying school fees, you got to start with school structure. School structure means who organize school or who forms school and how is it done. School boards must be there. Who get accreditation to school? Because people just all around.
What is it the school offering?
Yeah, what is it the school offering? If you're charging somebody, say $200, what is it you're offering in your school that you're charging your child $200?
That commensurate with that fund.
Exactly. So, do you have laboratory? Do you have library? Is the school environment good? Or you just want to make money? So some people are making school like a business now. So
is it that regime past and present haven't really been strong to put policies and regulations?
Man, it's not just about the regime, it's about the people. Sometimes the people suffering the people, then people blaming government. So when you open your school and charge somebody $500 in the community, and that community no school there beside your school, the people blame the government, correct? Because some of the reason why people blame the government got to put policy in to make sure that people not charging school, charging. That's where the government weakness is coming from also. So in terms of regulation, enforcing regulation. But again, if you go in the environment and you find out if that man close the school down, the government cannot build school there, then it become a potential problem. So the people take advantage of that. The government not building school all around the place. And so people are building their own school and charging people exorbitantly. And people have to pay. Parents struggling. Poor parents are struggling to pay school fees. And so many parents don't have the money, but people just get exorbitant. So we're creating a problem that the citizens themselves, and there where I agree with you, that this is not just about government issue. It is about both the citizens and the government working together to solve the school issue, because it is a serious issue in this country.
If you were to give a recommendation, Senator, what do we do moving forward?
Well, you know, I'll tell you one thing. We're being engaged with the current administration and minister to say, let's put it in the policy and the regulation. Before you open your school, there should be a school board authority in that community or in that district. And there should be requirements laid down.
That one should meet.
Before you establish your school.
Okay.
And that will include several things. The facility of the school, the school fees, you know what I'm saying?
The quality of
teachers. All these things got to be there before you open your school. You don't just open one John Brown, one Peter Paul school somewhere. You just go build something, you open your school, you say, I get a school, you start teaching in a private school, and you're charging people. Because when you charge people, and you charge the parent, and the parent have to go through their breading to send their children to school because there's no government, there's no school there, and because the government cannot afford to build school in all the area. Look at my real population now. My understanding is the total number of high schools in Monrovia is around 800 to 900 schools. Total number of high schools. But when it comes to the government schools, the facilities have been challenged. Been a challenge. How to improve it. Put our chairs in the school. We've been struggling to put quality teachers on the payroll. Most of the teachers now on the payroll are volunteer teachers. And so the volunteer teachers working free and providing education to our brothers and sisters. How can we get on payroll? All the challenges are there. And then the private schools are there, people opening private schools. Some of the private schools they open in the community, they just charging people. So how can the government, through the Ministry of Education, put in a regulation so that even you see, you got to get different standards because the ministers sitting up there, the minister alone cannot go all the way down alone. The ministers, because they have about maybe 5, 6 ministers, but the school system, the way you structure it, from the county to the district,
education officer,
to the district, maybe to Klein, then you get school boards, because you gotta get people like your checking on all these different areas, because you want to make sure that schools are in different localities that can provide education for our people. Because if you don't provide education for the young group of Liberian people, will get major problems.
Do you think also, Senator, the way we have the Monrovia Consolidated School System, will it work better for counties where these schools will be on a specific system they are advocated for? And so
I believe in that. I wanted the model that I think we should follow. Even though MCC
they have their own challenges.
They have their own challenge, but at least with that kind of model, maybe county school system or district school system. One of the things because I was born in Lofa County. Yeah, I'm a Lofian.
Okay.
I was born in Lofa.
Then you cross over to Wrepue.
No, but Wrepue was Lofa County when I was born.
Okay, so they divided.
When I was born, there was no Wrepue County. Wrepue was year 2000. The time I was born, I was 1971. There was no Lofa. There was no Wrepue County.
So they divided.
So but my parents, all my parents are from Lofa. Some of them from Kolaun and Foya and Kwadi Bonnet. But the point I'm making here is that Lofa County have one of the best school systems and quality education. Zozo Multilateral High School, Vonyama.
Yeah, my dad went to the Vonyama Multilateral
High
School.
People coming,
he gave us lectures.
Even Kepamos, people coming from Hapo, the system was good, was controlled. And so we got to find a way to reintroduce that system so such that people control it. And people are not just using the sector as money making, because one of the things that's reducing the quality of education is because people are not using it as a business issue, not provide service in terms of quality for
and one of the arguments has been, if you, the government, will make the public schools to be what it ought to be, a lot of us will not run to.
I fully agree. I fully agree.
Private schools to pay everything.
I fully agree.
I mean, fees.
I fully agree with that, Trokon. You know, I was talking to the minister. I said, Minister, we gotta find a way to make public school attractive. You see, my disappointment, for instance, Totmoha, one of the major high schools.
Right in the city center.
Yeah. Totmoha, we got to find a way for Totmoha to go back to the old days. So that you, instead of people fighting to go to Maria College, I don't know the standard of Maria College now, but those days, those are some of the best school criteria. Oh yeah. People should be fighting to go to Totmoha. Create Totmoha as a model school. A good enough that before we left, we're trying to build multilateral. The government tried to build multilateral in 3 counties. The whole will continue in all the 15 counties, and make a quality education. Provide a quality that should be a standard. At least when people see people won't go to government school. And you go to government school, the facilities should be there. Children now, the children go to school, so the children hungry. The children can't find food to eat. Sometimes you can learn your lesson.
Yeah, lack of chairs in these government schools.
There's no chair. But when I mean quality, everything got to be there. Quality teacher, quality facility. The environment is school good. You can go to the cafeteria. The teacher can get somewhere to sit. The teacher mind will be good. The teacher should be excited to go to school, to go and teach. During our day, my man, you go to school, food are there for you to eat.
The school feeding program.
The school feeding program. Children go to school, they can't find food to eat. The children stay at school whole day, they're hungry. That point, when I learn anything, children.
Of course.
Then the person saying that the parent got to find chair for their children, and the child coming from school, the child got to go hustle. All that thing reduced. Now, the teacher going to school, the teacher not getting paid.
It is worse.
It made it even worse. So we've been talking about trying to get most of our teachers on the payroll, and that problem existed from Ellington. When CDC came in, we did a lot to improve that. Today, the free school program is there now. Going to college.
It's upheld by this government.
Yeah, of course, which is a good thing. And I always say, look, if we practice, if we just practice, Trokon, that when government come, it may not be your government, but keep a policy in place.
When the policies are good.
That benefit the country. Exactly. You're not changing it because you say, oh, that CC people bring it, so I will change it. Unfortunately, some of my friends say harmonization was bad, but they came back. You know, one of the fun I always make with one of my friends, she was campaigning. She say, "You harmonize our pay, will harmonize your vote." So she promised all her friends that once the Unity Party was going to win election, she was going to ensure that the harmonization going. Even UP promised that, but they got to understand it's a policy issue, because once you put a budget, you can't even pay. So people campaign on things that they could not deliver on. But if the country is moving the right direction, look at all the roads today. All the roads, most of the roads are paid for, the government continue. If you say election year, you gotta go find your own money. You will not find money, it will take you years.
Different financing agreement.
Of course. And we'll talk about that when I come to the agriculture issue. You gotta find different financing and you will not find the opportunity. So the other government started, you can continue with that. You see today, people say around a road, for instance, I was responsible, they put me on sanction, put lie on me.
So you carry your friends there.
I carry my friends.
We come to that, Senator. I still want to talk a little more of this. Were you surprised on yesterday when you listened to the National Commission on Higher Education talking about how 31 of the higher institutions of learning in the country are operating illegally?
So I'm inviting the higher education, the Senate will be inviting to come explain to us, because he will be accrediting higher education. How the people got, that's what my senior saying, how the people got lesson, how were they accredited, were they fake schools? If they were fake, they were operating, then there should be some penalty for them. But I need to understand the full context, because we have not yet been briefed by the director, the higher education. I just listened to it myself. So I've asked my office, my main office in terms of the office of the Committee on Education, to write the director to come and explain to us the rationale behind the action that he took. So I don't want to delve into that because I don't have the full context of why he took the action.
Okay.
So Ali, I can brief the Senate on the reason behind the decision that he took. If in the interest of the country, we support it. So we want to know why he took it, because the higher education has the responsibility of giving accreditation to these schools. How have they been operating in the country, and when they started operation, and why it took so long before they took the action they wanted to take. So these are things we'd like to know.
Okay, let's transition a little bit from education to agriculture. You've been very loud of recent about this whole retrap project at the Ministry of Agriculture. You've made allegations some 200 million US dollars been watered down the hold and so on and so forth. Senator, what's the basis of that argument? Why did you come up with such,
listen,
allegation?
In 2021, the government of Liberia, under the leadership of President Weah, decided that agriculture was the way to go. And if we wanted to succeed, we wanted to grow our economy, the area that you find majority of our people is in the agriculture sector. But the challenge our people have, especially poor people, farmers, the challenge they have is asset to money. Let me put it in simple English. Asset to money. Because people want to make their farm. Let's take, for instance, cassava farmers in this country. Trokon, one of the easiest farms you can make in this country is cassava.
Even in the backyard.
In the backyard. Cassava farmers in this country. Some people grow their cassava. The cassava remain right in the backyard. The cassava get damaged. They don't know where to sell it because they don't have money. People just eat some. The next year they go and grow. So want to do rice. The people doing cocoa. Cash crops. And the people not just giving you money, because when we give you money, the intention when they give you money, you can be able to employ Liberians. Because the total, of course, improve on your farm and employ Liberians, and you can make money and the economy can grow. Because when the economy grows, more Liberians will get a job. So you see, the job sector cannot only be we're waiting for concessionaire, foreigners to come and create jobs in Liberia. The idea was for us to create jobs in our own country, using our farm, using the soil to create jobs. But how you do that when you don't support the process. You have to support the process. So the government decided that, look, let's take loan from the World Bank. The World Bank came with a program. They want to support the farmers. Support me farmers is to grow more farms and strengthen the agriculture sector. But you know, my disappointment, and the president of Liberia, President George Weah, was very much instrumental in making sure that, look, we can't give jobs to everybody in the government. Some people just go make farm. Okay, people say, but chief, we want to go make farm, we don't have money. Okay, we say we'll find money. We went to the World Bank. The World Bank decided that, look, what we'll do, we'll credit Liberia money. We'll get Liberia loan, concessionary loan. Meaning the interest rate is very low, I think 0.5% or something. Mm-hmm. And that loan will take it and support farmers. Get my phone, I want to show you something. We'll support farmers. So $200 million was programmed in the World Bank program. $200 million. Mm-hmm. $200 million United States dollar. $200 million United States dollars. $200 million US in 2021, between 2019 and 2021. That money came should have been managed by the Ministry of Agriculture. I guess, and part of that program, the president said, look, but you can't, if you want to support farmers, at the same time, the people can't bring their crops. If the farms are producing, they can't bring their crops to the market.
There's no road.
Because there's no road.
There's no storage.
There's no storage. So they decided to put in a process. We got $200 million. But before then, during the UP time, they had the same problem, but when you came. So the money is there. So because we can't see farms, I mean, you go across the country, you only see sambo. You don't see farms. So it raised concern because we're part of the government. And I know the interest the president had in this process. And $200 million was credited that Liberian people will pay back to the World Bank, the taxpayer. All the Liberian people will collect taxes for them, you pay back that money. When Gafan started the last and Gafan said the government owes more than $1.5 billion in multilateral loan. That money part of that loan.
And we'll pay.
We'll pay back.
Of
course you will pay back. So my question has been, how did we manage that money? Where is the money and who benefited from it?
What's the outcome?
Where the outcome? What the impact? Mm-hmm. Because by now, my brother, if we have 1,000 cassava farmers in this country, and we are giving them money, and the farm producing gari and doing all kind of things and getting instruments, they're doing something, they could produce that money and get paid by the money, and we take the money and we get a different group of people. That's $200 million. How do you use that money? Where
have we exhausted that money?
But the question now, that the reason why I'm saying the Senate must investigate. The Senate must investigate.
What have you noticed
I noticed that. But the Senate, the first year they posted, they are spending almost all the money, except for the one for the road, because the road from Saclay Pier to Grand Gilead's Wrepue, that road money was already acquired through that money, $116 million. According to the Ministry of Agriculture, the money is still there with the World Bank. Because we signed some of the contract. We signed contract with most of the companies from Saclay Pier to Tapita, from Tapita to Totan, from Totan to Wrepue. Those contracts were already on a contract during the CC time. So the money is available. So the government, all the government has to do is to make sure they utilize the money, give it to the contractor so they can build the road. I mean, any government would have come will do the same thing. But I'm happy that the government is continuing with that program because the money is available. The money is already there. Mm-hmm. But what happened with the balance $94 million? The $94 million, how was that money used?
That was going directly to agricultural productivity.
To the farmer. That was going to the farmer.
Do we know whether the rollout of that fund started, apart from the road, whether it started on the season?
Of course, it started. It started.
Jenny Cooper.
On a Jenny Cooper. It started on a Jenny Cooper. What I'm saying, not about CDC. Because
I just wanted us to have
of course, it started on a Jenny Cooper. It started on a Jenny Cooper.
So there's two different.
Yeah, it started on a Jenny Cooper and continued on a Nuta.
But I know the Nuta administration has gone deep into that.
Yeah.
Because at certain point in time, I followed the Wrepue people and were
Nuta and Janico, but they both of them have to account for how they spend that money. Who they get the money to? The king, they say, for instance, they say you $30 million for full security. The question is, what kind of security?
Are you not convinced?
No, but what is security here? What the warehouse did they get here? They get in a storage center, all the pockets out and plenty and spoiling all what they play. You call food. Who you get the money to? Now the question is, they should give the name of the people who they get the money to. They should tell where the farms are located. Because once see the empire in the country, you think we just waste $200 million librarian people pay for it? The money was to get, look, my brother, if the government not making money and pour money, will take $200 million, also want to give it to people to go make farm. And we can work with the farmers for them to produce something like rice or cassava, and the people can make money in this country. You reduce the burden from the government, from people say they want to go government job, they want to go work in ministry, they want to go take ministry job. Everybody want to work in the ministry because the people can find something to do. If you want to go do your cassava farm, even if you do your cassava farm, you don't have nowhere to sell it. You don't have money. But if somebody give you something, you can open your pastry, you can do something, you can make money, you can pay back, you become a money man, because the money will get to you. The biggest problem we have in this country is access to financing, access to money for the bank to get you money. No bank want to get small farmer money yet. No bank wants to get the money. So when the government borrow the money and say, you know what, let's give it to the farmer then, so the people can do farm and make money. My man, if I don't have to work for government, if government can kind of say, you know what, Magil or Trokon, we'll get you $5,000, just go do cassava farm, we'll get you machine, so you can do your Gary. You will not go do it. When you're making money, you will make more money. You will even make more money than the men working in the government. But if we don't manage that money properly, and we don't know who they get the money to, there's an issue of concern.
Because, like you said, you are requesting that ministry to give a full listing of who they did business with, who they gave the money to, what portion went to what. With the Senate, with the oversight you have, go to the field to do verification.
Of course.
Because this is where many people.
My brother, listen to me. Listen to me. This Senate is very interesting. I want to thank the Senate Pro Tem, Senator Yomli Kanga. In her statement, when we return this section, in her statement to the Senate, she made that investigation a priority. And I, as a former minister in CC government, knowing very well how much interest the President George Weah, and the CC people attached to that program to help the ordinary Liberian people, I'm interested in knowing where the money went because the Liberian people pay. I'm very much interested. Look, listen, I want people not to see the thing. It's not a policy business.
I don't think it's a policy thing.
Because
that's what I asked when they go out of the funds.
I'm speaking as a Liberian. Look, we all are government officials. If we don't correct, look, if we don't correct some of the wrong things, look, this country gone 118, 178 years. We borrow money in Mr. Salita. My brother, that means our agriculture has borrowed more than $1 billion. $1 billion US. We can't see anything in the agriculture sector. Oh no, Mr. Salita, the same thing happened. They borrow money more than $300 million US. You can't see far. So where the money going? Who benefited from the money? When people crying in the community, in the budget, they can't get fund to even get quality to cut their fund, to do red fund, they can't get money, and money there. Where are the money going? We need to know.
When would that investigation begin?
The investigation already started.
Have you called them?
Yeah, of course. They came for the first hearing, they brought some funny people. The Senate was
Why
so
you call it funny?
Funny people because they just say, we spent, so many times I want to show you in my phone. They brought some funny people and say, we spent $30 million.
Wasn't there a detailed breakdown?
No detail. They just brought PowerPoint presentation and say, we spent $30 million for full security. We say, what they call full security? Full security, both Kazao, they're getting routing all in the budget, no warehouse, nothing like that. You spend $30 million. Tell us how you spend that $30 million now. Who you give it to? We want to know. We want to know who they get the money to. And what the impact it made in the community. Because, mind you, Liberia will pay back that money to the World Bank. So, that money is supposed to benefit ordinary Liberian people, farmers, smallholder farmers. You know, my farmer then, they say they give it to farmer all over Liberia. According to them, they give the farmer in all the 15 countries benefited. So, we want to know the farmers that are in the 15 countries. Most of my colleagues in the Senate say they Did I see any fund there?
Yeah, because they have two programs. They have the Starpy and the Retrap.
Or two. The Starpy
Yeah.
was to give financing directly and the support to grow to protect this thing. Nothing happening. So we just want to know. You can't give all the record. Explain to us. Wrepue have the right to know because you pay by the money. So as a former official, I'm interested. Trokon, this is not about right must be right. Liberia cannot be to the place where people blame presidents in this country for not showing interest in things when the presidents themselves are doing more. President Weah said to himself, I want to make sure that our people should start suffering and I can get everybody join the government, so I will empower people in the private sector through farm, through agriculture. My brother, when agriculture start booming in the country, we're making our own food. You can eat all sorts of food here when you get money.
Because we spend a lot on importation. I mean, a whole lot of money.
Of course, rice. Food. We can do rice, but when the red business, in red farm, I understand they get 10,000 red farm more money. What is 10,000 red farm more in your country get money though?
That is why they will have.
And there's a report. I have a report from the World Bank. I have a report from the World Bank because I wrote a World Bank.
Does it contradict what they told you?
Of course, but I want to find out. I wrote a World Bank. I wrote a World Bank to send me the report. World Bank sent me a summary report. Okay. And the World Bank said, but go to your ministry. They will get a detailed report there. The ministry will be asking them for the last 1 month. They can't give a detailed report. We can't get a detailed report. So the country needs to know. Liberian people need to know.
Okay.
You know, one of the things that in the country, Trokon, people just speculate. I don't do speculation. I'm not one of those people who just Mageda roll, John Brown roll, just because you're in government, because people want to say that. I don't just go around accusing people. In fact, I'm not accused anybody of corruption. I still would want to know how the money was spent.
And that's fair enough.
Who benefited
to ask
from
for
the
accountability?
Money? Who benefited from the money? Because as I see it, more farmers in the interior, they are still crying they don't have money to make their farm. And some of the places they farm like that, there's no farm. So you can go post sample somewhere you see that farm here and there's no farm there. When the me supposed to be get money, they don't have the money. And people are struggling. Farmers are struggling. You know how many people in the country? Trokon, 88,000 people working. We have 5.2 million people in this country. Only 88,000 people working in the government. If we do the multiply effect and say 10%,
4 million plus people.
Of course. More than 5 million people, but 8,000. We talk about 5.2 million according to the census report.
Yeah.
So more than 5 million, 5.7 million people now working in the government.
Some are vulnerable.
They're not in the government. So let me assume we are 800,000 people or 880,000 people working because maybe say one family member in the government get 10 dependents. So you're talking about somewhere around 4.4 million people now working. Those people just depending on their hustle in the street.
Great. We hope to see how that probe will go.
No, it will go. It will go. The Senate will go to the
We are watching now to see the normal legislative way of doing it.
Interest in the thing, and people don't see all the men talking. No, you know, some people when people make allegations, I don't talk too much because some people make allegations against you. People malign all they say, oh, the men did, the men that. As a librarian, I will continue to talk because that's the right thing for me to do. The right thing for me to do is to continue to talk, Trokon. Things have, we have officials in this country. We will have the opportunity for people to vote for us, for people to give us power. We have a responsibility to the people. We're not perfect. Yeah, we can make mistakes, but we got to learn from our mistakes. Because as a human being, the only perfect person was Jesus Christ. But even Jesus Christ is a perfection. People still criticize him. So I expect I will be criticized. I expect people will say things against me. People will say things against me that are not true.
Okay, let's transition again, Senator. You've raised a lot of concern about phase 2 of ArcelorMittal's expansion. Your Senate colleague Yan Twine himself have raised some issues. What are your points, by the way?
Well, firstly, let me thank Yan Twine. And the reason why I'm thanking Yan is Yan comes from the affected county, which is Nima County. And I think Yan is doing it in concert with members of the caucus.
That's what I heard.
And as a senator, Nima County belongs to Liberia. The decision in the legislature is not a Nima County decision. It is the Republic of Liberia decision. But let me just go back to history. During the interim administration, Mita speaking on Liberia, where they come from war, the country was recovering. So we're looking for opportunity to attract investors. What was the reason why we wanted to attract investors? What is the fundamental reason why any country would want to attract investors to come? Do you know? It's to create jobs. Support the economy. Create jobs so Liberian people, so your citizens can have jobs, the economy can be strong, people can make money. That's the fundamental reason. And two, those who come in with the investment, they want to make money, they want to make profit. So there have to be equilibrium. Equilibrium means the people may benefit, you too can benefit. It's not one way that you just can't take money from the country and go and the poor remain poor. Then we don't need that kind of investment in the country. You know, I have a theory that instead of attracting foreign investment, we should attract local investment. Instead of giving incentive to foreigners, we should give incentive to Liberian people who create jobs.
Would that work better?
Of course. Trokon, if you came here and you build a radio station, I'm coming back to the meter issue, but I don't want to.
Yeah, just a knowledge.
You can't build a radio station, and you employ 50%. You are giving job to 50 people. You multiply by 10, 500 Liberian, you are giving job to, because every Liberian man get 10%, 10 dependent. But if the government can give you incentives
to increase the business,
to incentivize your business, so that you can employ Liberian. You know, people will not be talking. Look, a lot of people will not be going to the government. So if we can give 5,000 Liberian people job, I mean, 5,000 Liberian businesses can be incentivized. And they see what we're trying to get a concession put in, all kind of tight bread, they can't they get all kind of tight bread, and they can employ people. Then they bring their own people then from all over the country and can employ them. Then Liberian people can get a job. You see so many reasons why they send it, especially thanks to Delon being reasonable. Even though the minister, I'm not blaming the minister, I'm just talking about in the context of Liberian getting job. You know what I'm saying? Liberian people deserve to get jobs. These businesses that come in, the reason why we get an incentive and bring in the country to get jobs, to create conditions for our people. Let me not go back to the meter story. I will give you a whole context of the whole mineral industry. That
I'm giving you some time to explain that.
I have had my own experience. I was in government before, I was in the executive. I saw some of the mistakes our former colleagues in the United Party made when they made a decision, going down as far as Judy Bryant time. And as a citizen, as an official, I think I've learned from that, and I think we should make progress. We should build on the mistakes that people made and correct the future. So I agree with John Twain. When Mita came in this country, Mita was the only iron ore company. The king of two brothers came in the country and built up our iron ore. We say, oh, Liberia coming from war, want to attract foreign direct investment. Because they'll get more capital, they will bring in the country, they will create jobs. The key, my first see, I was not in the government, interim government. What I heard then, they said, Mitas are going to create 30,000 jobs. They've been here for 20 years now. They have not created even, I don't think, 3,000 jobs. Two, we're getting all the incentive. We're getting the railroad free. We're getting everything free. They just spend small money. And they're not Mita alone. Our nephew companies and some of the mistakes we made in the past were come to the mining industry in this country. And how foreigners made money and Liberians are still poor. And Liberians are still suffering. My brother, the position we see ourselves, and what we learned when we're in government, and what we know now is an opportunity for us to correct the future and not go back in the same mistakes.
What do you want to see with the phase 2 expansion?
First of all,
what would be your proposal?
First of all, it's a good thing that we're keeping in here. For anybody to want to invest $1.4 billion into iron ore mining, imagine how much that guy going to make. Billions of dollars. In fact, I'm told the current iron ore value is around $100 now. I think $90 to $100. So if you're taking it about $100 per ton, and they're doing, I think, 10 million tons per year, you're talking about 10 million tons per year. You're talking about $1 billion every year they're going to be making. How is it possible that people be working for you and people living continuing making $1 billion every year in Liberia? And you make $1 billion for 25 years at $25 billion. and the people be living continue. The condition are bad, no medical facility, no good homes, no good school. So I fully agree with my colleagues from Nima. That though we didn't make that decision 20 years ago, the fact that we have an opportunity now to review it, we got to correct it.
But times have changed, conditions have changed.
Of course, but that's what I'm saying. Conditions have changed, and we know the guys are making sufficient money. The guy going to be making $1 billion every year. You know what I'm saying? Our colleagues who made a decision then, their thinking was, at that time, let attract the poor, let the poor come. The poor here have been here for 20 years. Even like 15% in the iron ore, we not get, I never declare dividend. So we're not benefiting. Even the royalty is too small. I don't believe in that idea of 3.5% royalty. My colleague, the other people,
should we propose something like 10, 15%?
Of course, 15%, my brother. Let make money from our own iron ore. Our people come here and be making money. They can't they don't have money. They can't go to bank and credit money. They can't get an iron ore to go to bank and credit money.
I listened to Senator Finlay one time, I think on the same radio station where he talked about, mineral sharing with these companies.
Of course. But you're coming to another issue. How we're losing in Labrador.
Let's come to the mining sector.
The mining sector, coming to the mining sector, I will tell you two scenarios. In the oil sector, how a Nigerian man came here and made $200 million US with all finding oil. But you got it from Labrador. Oil black.
Who was that?
Actually easy. A Nigerian man came, he spent $10,000. Somebody who know the program doing Judy Bryant time, he spent $10,000.
That was the intern leadership.
Intern leadership, 10,000, got 3 all blacks. But let me go to Mita first. Mita got to change that thing. The poor can be living in that kind of place. So the Nima lawmakers, they are the first line of defense. They tell you, gentlemen, we need your help. Because the thing that Nima people are citizens on Labrador. They are citizens. They are our citizens. Go at the day that our people will be treated in a way, you can't, your businessman will give you all the support that you want. We'll give you all the protection that you want. But you got to treat our people fair. Our people must live fairly. CDC we did not amend their because it remained until we left. But now that the government has the opportunity to do it, you know what I'm saying? We all got to work with the government to make sure that the right thing is done. This is about Liberia. We're not fighting the company. We just say give Liberian people the kind of benefit they deserve because you're taking money from here, that our resources. So that my argument with Mita.
I know the Senate invited them.
No, but they're not before oil yet because you know the government, they think a procedure. The government got to do the negotiation.
Yeah, the executive for two.
Yeah, so everybody has their role to play.
Okay.
But as senators,
so you've begun holding conversations.
We are signing the alarm bell.
Okay.
Because even all the CDC, that is the same problem we have with them.
Are you discussing among yourself?
Of course.
Some of the concerns been raised by.
Of course, we are doing it. You know, at the end of the day, we are doing it because even in cities that same concern we have, the country belongs to the people. If we can't get people joining the government, we got to create opportunity for the people to live better. You can't be giving, you be making $1 billion every year from Nima County, and the people, the Librarians who working in your rubber plant, iron ore plant, they living in continuum. Man, build good houses for them. So when you leave Labrador can benefit, you can't take all resources from here in 25 years, take $25 billion from here, you go see when they be whole and the whole place like Shandita, when they continue and you see around the place. You see what they Yekepa was a city. Build city, build good school, build hospital, get them electricity, get them good houses, get them good pipeline water, everything. Let people benefit from our resources. That is our resources you're taking from here. You make money, our country enjoy, our citizens enjoy, they benefit from the resources because they own it. So when people stand up to that, it's not that we are against the people. It's not that we are against Mita. Now you see, and the reason why I'm advocating is the pain that I've seen that Labrador continues to suffer. I give you an example of the oil black. During the interim government, again, because most of the deals started in the interim government, will say Labrador now found with exploring oil. One Nigerian man here, he spent 10,000 10,000. And they got 3 oil black. He sold it all black. I think he sold, they say he sold 60%. My owner said 83%. He made $200 US. We're all taking
200 million or
200 million US. I thought easy. Check anybody will get that story. He took $200 million from LeBron found oil. But somebody has already made $200 million from LeBron oil money. And LeBron are still poor.
Isn't
it happening with Sasagua and El Nito in Bomi County? They bought and made 100. They say it's a scrap company here. They don't get money to the same way. My brother, it all treating when they further can get contract and make money and walk away. And when they can't, they don't do anything. They just flip it, just take it black and sell it. The man just the day they poor God, that's my problem. You can't get our mineral, see that you sell it and make money and walk away.
Senator, is it that you, the lawmakers, when I'm talking about you, because you are part of people who are making law now, I'm talking about past and present people. Is it that we're not making better laws?
No, the laws are there.
All these concessions we are sounding are not in the interest of the country.
No.
Because if it is there, then these people should not relate to the country.
One of the mistakes we made when we came from war, the thinking then was to attract people. But we're not in war again. We're running our own country. So we got to make a better decision.
It's more than 2 decades?
Yeah, so we got to make a better decision now. We can't make the same mistake that people made 20 years ago. The guy who made a mistake 20 years ago, they said they were not mistaken. They said, gentlemen, we're just trying to attract the people. Now that you have the opportunity to correct it, you should be able to correct it. So it is my hope that the government will, all of us, become part of the government in terms of the legislature. And my colleagues in the Senate will not just play, will not do partisan politics. Because when you bring partisan politics, then we abandon the interest of the people. There are people now who are talking so many things. Oh, I see these men talking so they disagree with me. But I will talk because I believe that the right thing to do. Yantuan is not a CDC man. He's a member of the ruling party. But he believes, as I do, and other senators do also, that the right thing will happen for Liberia. I'm sure CDC were there will do the same thing. CDC government will do the same thing. Liberian people will speak out when the wrongs, when they find out that wrongs are about to happen, they will say, no, the other way we elected you. Look, my brother, every time we go to election, sometimes they put out go to election, sometimes we have more than 2,000 people. Only 103 people are elected. The 103 people will have a responsibility, plus probably the one the president will appoint. Yeah.
So 105.
105%.
And the rest.
Yeah. Then plus the people who are president appointing the cabinet to make, the Senate confirm to make decisions. They feel, we are representing the people's interests. So our responsibility is to do the right thing for the people.
Do you believe in the view that we need to take a holistic look at some of these agreements?
Let's
relook at them.
I think
Let's
so.
re-strategize.
I think so. Now that, look, you see, all the agreements have a time to review them. And now that the opportunity have come for them to be reviewed, most of the companies want to review that thing. I don't think Mita will be angry. It will say to them, man, you got to do well for our
It's
people.
a give and take.
They will not leave the country because nobody will invest $1.4 billion in the country and run away from it. They want to know what kind of money they're going to make. So doing $1.4 billion investment, it's not a joke.
I'm told that plane is the second largest in Africa.
Of course, it's not a joke. That means they know what kind of iron ore here. They know the money that they're going to take from here. So let people benefit. It's just as simple and the correct thing to do. People have to benefit. And we'll continue to advocate, my brother. No matter what people say, that people will be criticizing. As I speak now, there are people who think that I shouldn't be talking. But I'm talking because I was elected to talk.
So it's both sides. Other things you should talk. Other people say you shouldn't.
Yeah, but I was elected to talk. When people of Margibi voted for me, they voted for me overwhelmingly. In the history of Margibi County, nobody have ever gotten a vote compared to me. I've gotten a higher number of votes from Margibi County.
Okay, how then we end on that before taking calls. How's your relationship with the people of Margibi?
Very
I know
good.
you live lower Margibi.
No, very tremendous. Margibi people love me, and I owe a deep heart of gratitude to the people of Margibi. Yeah, I'm very grateful. I'll continue to remain grateful to them. I'll continue to do my best.
What's that single most promise you made that you've started working on? Or
Well, you know,
what are the two, three promises?
Basically, you know, because of what I know when I run in, most of the things I said to Margibi is that the worst is to be in opposition. Because when you're in opposition, you are in a tough position to get things done.
The space is tight.
A place is tight. So I just continue to do little things that I can do, continue to advocate. But my main function is to do oversight, is to do advocacy, is to pass good laws. And that's what I'm doing right now. You see, I'm not only advocating for the poor market, but I'm advocating for because I'm a Liberia senator. I'm a senator of Liberia. Even though I come from Magibi County. Magibi is the primary area. So continue to advocate for Magibi, the road issue, the school issue,
Firestone is there too.
issue. But Firestone issue, I'm happy that we'll be able to address most of the Firestone issue. I'm not told that most of the things have improved. I want to thank Firestone also, and I want to thank the workers of Firestone for standing up for their right. I also want to thank the management of Firestone for listening. Everything not perfect, but there have been a lot of changes at the plantation. And so we got to encourage our people. It's going to be a tough time along the road. There's not going to be bread and butter. Nobody tells you when you win elections the bread and butter issue. But we got to continue to talk for the people. My job as an opposition senator, as a caucus chair of CDC, is to continue to advocate. That is our number one responsibility. You know, so now Trokon just backtrack more. So people think that opposition job is to be praising the ruling party. That's not our job there. Our job is to be exposing the ruling party shortfall. Every opposition across the world. You know what I'm saying? You ever heard Democratic Party, say you're always using America as your benchmark. You ever heard Democratic Party people praising Donald Trump? One day I'm not seeing no Democrat praise Donald Trump. Even Donald Trump stand up for America, they will say criticizing.
But the conversations are constructive.
Yeah,
that's what people expect.
But you see, but yeah, it's constructive. One day, I mean, for the record, the president is my uncle.
Have you met him since he became president?
Yes, I met him. I think I met him. Just from official, private. I met him twice.
At his invitation or at your request?
The other one was the
Senate meeting.
The Senate meeting with him. I think 3 times the Senate leadership met with him. But I remember the leadership. Then I met with him as a senator of Magibi to discuss Magibi issue, especially the issue regarding C.H. Redding Hospital.
Also reception like.
It was good. It was good. And I mean, the hospital has now started. I want to thank him.
Yes, I know the C.H. Redding.
The C.H. Redding Hospital. Then the last time he gave me with Magibi leadership, he met with Magibi caucus because you always have the time to meet with other caucuses. Okay. He met with Magibi caucus. We met with him and we discussed. And again, we push Magibi agenda.
For you, that's a good practice from a president.
Of course.
To meet these caucuses.
Of course, because our in the mansion, we used to do the same thing.
Okay.
President, we used to do the same thing. But you got to talk to the people because they represent the people. If you want to know how the people are thinking, you got to talk to the caucus. You have to have a relationship. This is a practice across. It's a universal practice. I say, president, you just want to play politics. You want to talk to nobody. No, you can't. You got. I mean, you people except you want to be opposition. But if you love your people, my man, my brother, I can disagree with the government, but my job is to first of all represent the people of Magibi County. So I got to advocate for the people, even in my disagreement, respectfully. And I had a lot of disagreement with President Bwaka. I mean, with the administration. I've disagreed with them the way they were throwing sedition out of offices, the way they were treating 10-year position. I think those were violating the law, but they said they were using the law in a conduct which I disagree with. I don't agree with the way the procedure. I don't agree with the way COFA was removed and how COFA has been treated. I have my own disagreement, but we got to follow the process.
How's the CDC, by the way?
CDC is very good. CDC is very good. Yeah, CDC is very good. You know, sometimes when you're in opposition, you can learn a lot. You know, you see a lot of different things happening. And I think that CDC, nobody perfect. I always make one statement that the only person who was perfect was Jesus. Nobody perfect, and nobody will be perfect on this earth. Yeah, we have some shortfall, but we're learning. You know what I'm saying? I show when CDC is given the opportunity again, a lot of mistakes they made will not be able to see mistakes.
What will you see if Liberians would have made George Weah president again today? I'm just giving a scenario, and you sat in that same position you were in. What will you want to see change?
Well, you know, government is a complex place. Because like I told you, government.
I mean, some of those mistakes you made.
You think government not exact science. You know, you can make decisions based on events. And so there are a lot of events that occurred before. I can't try to name them.
Okay.
But you don't want to make sure, like I was saying, we made education and role our major priority in agriculture. And in that area, I think there's a lot of improvement that is needed in three areas:
education,
road, agriculture. So a lot of things we do to improve. Now that things I know, a lot of things we're seeing. Even the president himself, as a human being, you learn every day. Every professional person learning, you're learning on the job. People who become president don't go there with presidential experience, because you gotta use every day things come out. You gotta deal with human being. Some person get 30, 40 years experience, but when the experience can the experience only go on your decision making ability. How you make decisions. What they talk about experience in terms of your decision making ability. When you are confronted with issue, how you going to address that issue? Because there are 2 million issues that you have to address every day. They like brought about 5.2 million issues, because every individual has his own issue, has his own unique issue that you have to address.
Especially when you are a president who will listen to the radio in the morning.
Of course, in the morning, my brother, you get listen in the morning.
Read the paper.
There's so many things you gotta do. When you listen to the radio in the morning, sometimes you get frustrated because people are complaining, and you're saying to yourself,
and some of the things they complain about are genuine.
Of course, I'm not going to solve all of these problems. My brother, when you're a leader, you're not responsible for everybody's daily bread. Even the person girlfriend get bad with them, you gotta be responsible for it.
Do you feel more burdened now than when you were Minister of State? I know also have your company.
No. Honestly, the job load is very light.
As a senator,
of course, because now you alone making a decision. But as a minister, my man, I have gray hair all over the place.
But it's still on you.
No, but not let out my hair. Not gray too much now.
It's getting black again.
Yeah, getting black some more. I have gray all over the place because the thinking, you have to think. You gotta be on top of your game.
Do you still imagine those days when Sundays and Saturdays outside your compound is packed and you're up there, you're looking and thinking how to escape?
But I feel good that the crowd has reduced.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel good, but the crowd can still come because people say, "Oh my girl."
Okay, Senator, let's interact with the public. I think we've had fair conversation and it was safer enough and conversational. Let's hear the views of Liberians. What do they think about the agriculture sector? We talk about the mining sector. We talk about ArcelorMittal. Senator McGill is pushing that even the royalty of 5% should go to 15%. And some of what ArcelorMittal has been doing should change. I mean, infrastructure development, how the people of Nima should benefit. We also talk about the education sector. So let's hear from you. What do you think on some of the issues we talk about? Hello?
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, so just make it 1 minute because a lot of people will call it. Lines are bustling. Let's hear you.
Yeah.
So they will use a headphone to hear them better. Go ahead.
Actually, I love the way Senator McGill really articulated things. And I think that what we should be doing. But the irony part about Senator McGill is he has 6 years to do similar thing he's doing.
To advocate against the own government?
The agriculture, the way he's talking. Okay. He could have talked to his own government that we are making mistakes. Today, he's speaking the way he's speaking. I love it. But my brother, the same thing yesterday. 6 years, all those things that were not corrected by LA government, you should have corrected that. So my kids sat here and think, well,
okay.
Why? Okay. It's own country. The rules are going to right now.
Thank you. Let's hear the next person. Let's do it a minute each. Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Anthony Seon.
Go ahead, Anthony. Somebody's phone is ringing. Go ahead.
How are you?
Yeah, my name is Anthony Seon. I call from Bourgeois. Thank you for bringing sincerity on the show and for a lot of things that you address. One of the things I really want to say that maybe the education sector hard time is like this. I found my school, and the students for the first time, the student their school fees they pay to me, and I'm able to pay my teachers. So I honor pay them. So at the end of the day, I would not able to pay university student or master degree holder. They would not able to hold the starting salary that I'll be starting with my school. So those who are around, I would like to talk to them. So there are many things in the educational sector that is not easy to settle. So just look at the list I've just told you and many other things. Government workers, the schools, they are paying more than private schools. So if you want to get a good teacher now, and you will not meet up with certain payment, they will not let it work for you.
Okay, thank you. The next person. Hello.
Hello, Trokon.
Let's hear you, boss man.
Yeah.
Hey, you're sounding too faint. You have a person live in your voice. Shake up a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Am I okay?
Yeah, much better. Let's hear you.
Thank you very much. I say good evening, Trokon and Dalbavo at Mange of Majibi County. I am James Blama Kamara from the Liberal Civil Rights Movement.
Okay.
Let me appreciate Senator Mange for the kind conversation he had. You know, our leaders need to speak in similar direction, like you said. Before you welcome Senator Mange in your studio, you said we have to have a national conversation. And certainly, Trokon, I agree with you. We have to have a national conversation that leading to the developmental agenda of our country. We cannot sit here and not put our mind to work, and we want for things to be okay. Even what Senator Mange is saying, small farmers will have been supported of the money credited, Liberia by World Bank. Today, the issue of food, there could be some significant progress in the agriculture sector. But what are we doing? Maybe those money were not placed in the right hand. There are other people who are taking those monies away. What can we do now as less fortunate people if government will not be able to ensure that accountability to be the order of the day? So I commend Senator Mange that he continue to speak, and also there should be some action taken.
Thank you. Hello.
How are you, Jay?
I'm fine. Let's hear you. 1 minute.
This is Abenigo Nathan from Soviet Mozzarella County.
Yes, Abenigo.
Let me applaud the senior member of my party, Senator Mange, for his expressions. I think he spoke very well. Mr. Mange, remember that you are in opposition, and you can recall when you were heading this country, you were not represented by the current administration when you were in opposition. So I want for you to add on your three-country responsibility, your oppositional representation, which means be very valiant and be very strong to hold the government accountable, because there are so many conditions that the government is exhibiting that affect the people of us. Thank you for the time.
Thank you so kindly. Let's talk to more people. Hello.
Yeah, hello. This brother Trokon, I hope you were getting time and you will not.
All that thing you're talking, if you have started saying the things you want to say, the time will be there. But before you finish talking, that one time gone. Others are on the line.
Thank you for 40 minutes time. No, this brother Trokon.
Call your name kindly and say where you calling from.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. The name remains Sabine S. Savannah, and I do join the conversation this evening from Clarendon. Big brother Trokon, it is because of lack of education. Today you see Magene have become senator for this country, right?
It's lack of what?
It is because of lack of education. Many people are lacking good quality education in this country. It is because of one of these three reasons that you see people like Magene today have become a senator in this country. Hello.
Back your statement with facts now, so we can let you go and others talk.
Okay. So my question here to Mangio, when did you get to realize that people in this country are suffering when you were sitting down there as a minister of state?
Okay.
You knew one event.
Clear enough. You ask a question, don't answer it for yourself now. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
When people ask questions, they can't answer it.
Senator.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Senator Maggie, I appreciate you. You know, all of them, Senator at that time, who was saying everything was bad at this time now. So you balance the equation. The other senators coming all the economy, they want the politics, they want the salary increasing. No, Mr. Senator, I appreciate you. Just had to critique on the point. You know, they criticize somebody, they talk about say, but then Maggie got to know. Maggie got to know that today something in your country is Maggie lying. They said no something. Let's agree that what we need to say Maggie from there. Because you know that Maggie will never cheat your bar. So you put somebody there not to cheat your bar, now you cheat your bar. When Maggie talk about, hey, you not that he lying. If Maggie lies, he's lying, same that like people enjoying. So we will not feel the black people enjoying. They can show the area that all of them go live there to go enjoy. All the what Maggie is saying, that's why I say he's lying. Now, when you get somebody, we say, now Maggie got to know. Yes, now Maggie got to know. Because you say Maggie was something, or now you put somebody there that will not enjoy. And we're not enjoying. So the country or in the country that people enjoying. Okay. So when Maggie say not lying, I beg you, but when you call it, I don't have enough for when you call it.
Okay. Thank you. Campina, the message you must show everybody enjoy. Myself won't go there be on a honey and milk. Hello?
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Let's hear you.
This Robin Cannon.
And
That's really.
I call from my Ghana resident.
I mean, long time you call you.
Oh, I be around, I'll stay around, and we have to look at the government and the governance of the country.
Okay.
Well, let me just salute Honorable Maggie. Truth be told, nobody has disputed what he has said towards the growth of the nation. Yesterday, the opposition then and the ruling establishment, all were condemned. But for the fact that Honorable Maggie will sit and suggest, give all recommendations, I think it should be looked at as patriotism. It should not be condemned. Bygone be bygone. We also go ahead so that they go up the country. Today is there. Those things they condemn, let it accept whatever that is better for the country from the angle of the opposition. Then the country will go on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robin Kane. We'll take two more so the senator have a lot of time to speak. Yeah, let's hear you. Go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Prince Fatima, and I'm phoning from Magibi District 1 resident.
Okay, Prince.
Let me first of all appreciate your still guest for his splendid deliberation.
Your senator.
Yes, Senator McGill.
Yeah, go ahead.
For his splendid deliberation. But my disagreement with him is he worked in the past government. He served as the former chairman for the CDC. He saw all of this ill within the government, and he extended the government as Minister of State, and today he's a senator. But we never heard him or see him talking in the regime of President.
If he didn't talk, then is it late now to talk, especially in the interest of the country?
No, it is not late. Okay. I listened to him as he talked about the issue about environmental. I think those people who did the first agreement didn't rush, and especially those who will come after them to make the necessary correction. Okay. So I think it is incumbent upon them to make this necessary correction in the interest of the country, not party land. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Let's talk to the second to the last person. Let's hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. A minute.
Yeah, this is actually most about Nimle, only from electoral district number 9. Yeah, I want to say to the senator one question. Because you on his own committee on education. So the people who those people they have education on commission on education has start down. And that is wasn't the same minister of education have gotten permission before they become high is the future in the country to be to start teaching or giving education in the country.
Yes, I think he said that. He said they are going to invite them to hear from them how those people got accredited and what led them to operating. Thank you for that. Let's hear the last person and then we'll go back to the senator. Let's hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Trokon, thank you very much. I'm Eddie Johnson at Prof. Single.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to extend my appreciation to Senator Maggie. Senator Maggie, thank you very much for whatsoever you have been discussing in the studio. I just want to tell you that God will bless you. Thank God, United Senator who were in opposition, you can threaten the soon presidential convoy. You can say the economy in the toilet. At least you are senator in opposition, but you're still working with the government to make sure that Wrepue benefit. Thank you very much.
Thank you so kindly, Senator McGill. The views are diverse.
One or two persons who not necessarily having a major disagreement, but so that just level of understanding. You know, somebody say because as a minister of state, my job was not to be talking. My job was to be acting. And I think I did my job very well. Look, you know, I walk in the street, people walk to me, international people, diplomats, business people, and come to me and say, Senator McGill, thank you. Well, you're Minister of State, thank you for the service you did to this country, for this country. Because people know the action I took. And I want to thank President Wrepue for making me Minister of State. Today, everybody says Minister of State is very powerful because of me. The Minister of State is one of the most powerful positions in this country today because of McGill. Because we had to keep people in line. We had to bring ministers and people in line to do the job that the president wanted them to do. And so I'm proud. But one of the things I want to say, I appreciate all the callers who make calls, even those who have small disagreement with me, some of the disagreement making fun. Almost like, why you into that time, so you should not be talking. So even like you say, even if I'm talking good things for the people, I shouldn't talk. Like I say, I'm not a perfect human being. Nobody perfect. That's the reason why as a human being, in our human flesh, we'll always make mistakes. But it doesn't mean that because if I didn't talk yesterday, I can't talk today. People elected me to talk. You know what I'm saying? People elected me to talk. And one of the things, like the caller said, our job as opposition lawmakers, our foremost responsibility is to make sure the government does what is right for the people of Liberia. That is our job. In order to say we want for the government, we want the government, because when the government doing the wrong thing, we advocate, but when the government continue to do the wrong thing, the Liberian people will make the decision. They will decide where the government is not listening to moving them from power. But our job is to continue to fight for the people. That is our responsibility. Why do we want to come to power? Our reason of coming back to power is to fight for the people. So we can't say because we're not in power now, so we can't fight for the people, we want for everything to go down the hill. No. We want for things to be good. And the people will make the decision. So my job is to advocate. And what I'm saying is that we'll work along with the government. When the government is doing the right thing, we'll support the government in our line. We did it before even opposition. CC did it before. President Weah was peace ambassador during Mrs. Salif time, President Salif time. We cooperated with the government. Look, we can disagree. Our job, look, nobody should say opposition fundamental role is to disagree. It's not to be praising the government. People want the opposition to be praising. Now, just one party still will have now. It will just be praising the government. So when people go, the men are opposition, all the men are going to be talking, all the men are going to be
that sentiment is always there.
Yeah, but everywhere in the world, the opposition role is to take the highline role to bring the government
I
to
share
vote.
that with you.
Of course. But look at the democracy, the best democracy that we adore here and aspire to be American democracy. You know, see, go online, go see the poll. All day they accusing the president. They disagree with the president. Everything the president does good, they disagree. But we will do the right thing. We know we are a small country. So the Trokon, I want to say, I thank people who call, those who praise me, we were 99%, maybe 1% disagree. Not a major disagreement. Somebody just say maybe I didn't say anything.
Yeah,
why am I talking now? But they still praise me.
Power.
They know they still I'm saying that the right thing I'm saying. But why? You know what I was saying to President Weah? Our chief of staff, my job was to advise from the back. But now I'm senator. My job is to advocate from the front. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a different position.
So you minister say you advise with the back.
Of course, because I'm not going to be overshadowing the president.
Okay.
But the president was making a lot of good decisions. Because as advisor to the president was making, like I just told you, why you think the president still want to borrow money to do the role from the Southeast? Today, President Boakai and the United Party government can now safely say that we'll do the role to the Southeast because President we are the CC government set the basis and the fund, the money is available now. We'll get the money, here. If we have one election, we'll just continue. But since they won, the money is there now. Now the agriculture side, I'm only asking the president, Mr. President, we brought money to help agriculture people. And the good thing is, the president, their money, I think that their money also, he was emphasizing agriculture. So we got to now go in the agriculture business and find what happened to the 200 or the $90 million or the $95 million that happened to the agriculture sector, so we can find and give it to the people that they deserve. Other people who already have farm and doing something for the country, then we don't have problem with the people. But the people who they just give money to, nobody know where the money coming from, nobody know where the money where. We can see the farm, we can see the money. We need some answers.
Okay. Thank you, Senator. It was good having you here today.
Yeah, thank you, Trokon. I want to say thank you to all the callers. I enjoy the conversation. Sometimes when we are leaders, we're not perfect. So when we come to the radio station to talk, we listen more.
Okay.
When people criticize, we take it in good faith and go out and say, oh man, on the radio, the person said it, maybe we need to correct it, we need to correct that. And that makes the country a very functional country. Thank you. So I'll see you next time.
My name is Trokon Wrepue. I'm going to be back here on tomorrow edition of The Conversation. Next week, Julius will be in full charge. Until then, have yourself a wonderful rest of the time.